Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very special Geek First podcast. Oh boy, I have no idea. I'm the delivery boy, Travis Snail.
Oh, okay. I'm the Animal Heart Caster, Dylan Muss.
I'm your friendly neighborhood caster, Kirklin Patzer.
I'm the Taylor of the decade,
Hey,
Taylor Field.
Ooh,
you are my favorite
very
Taylor
fitting.
of the decade, easily.
Easily.
Yeah, you're up there.
If you haven't guessed, this is a best of the decade video games. What's going to happen the next few weeks is you're going to get a lot of this. You're going to get a Golden Geeks for the decade. You're going to get the winners of that. You're going to get a 2020 preview, but there's going to be a lot of like look backs and look forwards. So stay tuned. There's lots of good stuff. We have multiple categories we're going to be breaking down today. We're going to be talking about the top 5 Gauntlet matches. If you don't know what that is, we'll educate you very quickly. We're going to do our personal top 10 games of the decade. So that's 2010 to 2019. Not like some people that count 2020. Those are weird people. You know, you can't do that.
People that don't count.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, and then we're going to make a collective
One collective list of the top 10 video game the
Oh,
first
no.
games of the decade.
Boom, that's what we paid Dylan for. And then we're going to do a most anticipated. Yeah, we might know some games coming out, and then other games are like a shot in the dark. Are we ever going to get a Batman game? Probably not, but, you know, that's what we're going to talk about. Possible games. Will we get another Smash game? Who knows? So we're going to start with the Gauntlet because that's the smallest list. We're just doing 5, and if you don't know what the Gauntlet is, that's our esports gaming league. Got a big shout out to I'm the only non-champion in the room right now, so that's great. You got Kirklin Patzer, double champ right
Two-time.
now, sports champion, team champion. You got Taylor Field, team champion. You got Dylan Muss, the first ever 2-time Gauntlet champion, the first ever winner of the tournament twice.
Hell yeah.
So that's very exciting. Check out because we got big matches. You guys, if everything goes
And you had a few belts in your day, you know.
I did. It's
Toot
all in
your
the
own
past.
horn a
It's
bit.
all in the past. I said I'm Luke Skywalker in Last Jedi right now. I'm taking a break. Some apprentice is gonna come get me.
Drinking that
But
cow's milk.
yeah, I got good stuff planned though because the very first event of this first that green milk. Dylan Muss gonna be defending that title very soon, probably against Tyler Briggs if he appears because that is in the Gauntlet.
It's gotta happen.
They're tied 2 apiece, and to me, they are arguably for the greatest
Yeah.
of all time.
I truly don't feel like I have that belt until I beat him.
That's why I'm doing it, yeah. And then you guys are going to be talking about Tyler Briggs defending against T Squared, who earned a title shot like almost 6 months ago, but because of complications, they haven't done that. So
Contracts.
for people, if you don't know, that's our kind of esports gaming league. We have lots of fun of it. There's stories and whatnot. It's going to be a good year. We have some really good stuff planned, and I think soon I'll probably have the 24-hour stream highlights. I've just been so busy, and those exports take usually about 10 hours per one because the file
That's
for the
savage.
24 is like 100
is
gigabytes,
savage.
and it's like it kills my Mac battery is dead. I'm buying a new one, but I'm pretty sure it's just because this podcast because it's just constantly on. So.
Yeah.
What do we want? Where do we want to start with? How did you guys define best Gauntlet matches? 'Cause I kind of heard you talk in the background.
Yeah, I guess
Kirkland.
my question is, so we're gonna have 5. We're gonna pick 5. Is that how we're gonna do this?
Are we picking 5 together, or do we have 5 personal?
I
I'm
feel like
down
we were
for
making
either.
one collective list,
'Kay.
right?
Yeah.
And are we gonna rank them? Like, is there like we're gonna pick the best Gauntlet match, or are we just gonna have 5 that are like these are the best Gauntlet? Like, if you should watch Gauntlet matches, watch these 5.
I'm down to try and debate and talk about the merits of each one. You
Okay.
know,
so like rank them. You mean?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
so.
let's do
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Let's do it.
Do we start at the bottom or start at the top?
Well, I guess you
Just throw-
posed a good question that we should still answer.
We have
I
to
think.
form
What
the
do you-
collective list, I feel, still, right? And then rank them?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess
But
we got to.
I think
figure
your
out 5.
question was
Yeah.
good. Like, what are you guys looking for?
For me,
Yeah.
I look for, and this is a big thing. It's because I'm always a guy that values like story over the play, but I look for the best combination of both. Because I think there's some games that you see someone just dominate, and it is a good sense of, oh, this guy is really good at the game, but it's sometimes not a fun match to watch. We've been on commentary desks where someone's getting creamed, and it's like, oh yeah, Dylan's really good at this game, but it sucks for the other person, like how he won the title against Jessica. All props to Dylan, because when you're a competitor, that's what you got to do. But when I wouldn't put that the greatest because
No.
it's like he just destroyed her, right?
Yeah.
But then if there's something that's just pure story, that's not the greatest. So for me, I kind of look for a balance of something that was a good game but had moments in it, and that's all my matches are. Relatively close. They're all things I can remember. They're all ones that while I was commentating or watching, I like jumped and like, oh my god, how did that happen? Or can't believe this. So that's what I put as a Gauntlet match.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar. I basically like the most memorable ones for me are like the holy shit ones, like holy crap, I can't believe it was that close, or I can't believe that happened. Just like kind of got like the casting couch just popping off. So that was kind of my category.
Taylor, maybe talk while Dylan's writing.
It's like, Dylan, you're going?
Give me a break, man.
Yeah, my picks are generally just the moments that had my hands like shaking afterwards. You know, just legendary moments that were very, very even and close that I would recommend and still talk to this day. Like just, you know, if you're gonna watch a Gauntlet match, here's a few that
Yeah.
you gotta tune into because they're so good.
Yeah, I think for me, it's. I mean, the thing is, like, when I was making this, first I just wrote the ones that came to my mind first,
Yeah.
and then I went and watched some
Yeah.
videos, just reminded myself of some stuff. But I think that's an important thing, right? Is if this match happened like 3 or 4 years ago, how long have we been doing this? 3, 4 years? 4 years or 3 years?
This is gonna be the 4th year of the Gauntlet.
Right.
Yeah.
So 3 years. Like, if I just remember a match that happened that long ago, that's probably a sign that it was
Yeah.
a pretty good match. But
Yeah.
there's definitely going to be some recency stuff. Like, I mean, our 24-hour stream, we had some great matches there too that I
Mhm.
want to shout
Mhm.
out as well. So yeah, I think for me, it definitely comes down to the story, the quality of the matches. But I just think it's like, you know, certain people will go on a run that was maybe unexpected. And I think that's an important thing too,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I think everyone kind of has like their expectations, and there's a couple like people who don't game as much necessarily who've competed in the Gauntlet, and they've
Yeah.
had some sick runs, and those are worthy of shout out as well.
Oh yeah, even look at Jessica in the tournament this year. She finished second. You know, out of
Mhm.
nowhere, she has a big time losing record, and that's all it takes. Same thing in Kyle in the second tournament. He somehow got to the final of Briggs. I
Yeah.
still wipe my eyes of like the finals of the first ever charity stream tournament was Kyle and Tyler, and it's like that's a weird combo. And then Tyler destroyed him in ping pong and like some other stuff. But
Yeah.
that's what can happen. So, and all these, when we say them, you should go check them out because we work hard. It takes a lot of time. It's fun for us, but also we
Yeah.
do a lot of stuff. There is like to break kayfabe. There's like a story aspect. We plan it out, and there's all characters, but it's a lot of fun. So these matches,
Yeah.
definitely go check out. If you like video games at all, we work really hard. There's lots of. We usually put a promo video at the beginning to give you like the base what the story is, and this year we have some good stuff coming.
Yeah.
So.
Travis puts a lot of time in the editing den to put
Yeah.
these together, and I mean that's the thing is like, you know, we kind of, it's kind of like wrestling in the sense that we play up these characters and have some fun with it, but at the end of the day, the matches are not
No, we've
planned
never,
at all. So
we've only ever to
the fact that we have to like weave a story around the results that do happen, and then often people will bail last minute.
Oh yeah.
We have to change things on the fly. I don't know how many times that's happened. So the fact that Travis can like weave this into like a cohesive narrative is definitely props to. I mean, one, you're planning that you think
Yeah,
of these
yeah.
plan Bs before they happen, but also just the way you edit them in the end.
Yeah, like this is a minor spoiler, but for your guys' team match, I have 3 potential routes, but I can't go anywhere till I decide who or not decide, but whoever wins, I can't plan until then. But like Dylan said, we have people move, we have people get other people pregnant, so they move and whatnot.
Why are you
example.
flashing at me when you say
Rube
that?
on. But the only I will say it was never rigged because he had a chance. But the only match that was kind of a little iffy was we had, and this is a break storyline. We had Taylor versus Pan Solo, but it was Dylan dressed as Pan Solo and Smash.
Whoa.
It's for the viewers. It's for some backstage
truth.
stuff.
Did you know it was me?
No. What is
Such
this?
a lie. And it was honestly just because Kyle couldn't show up, so we had to get the chairmanship off him. That was the main thing because he's like, oh, I couldn't make it. So
I thought I was meant to lose that. I thought
You
you
were,
guys
so that's
rigged.
why I put
Yeah,
you
if it
ga-
was Kyle, I know I could have creamed him.
But I know, but that was the point. No, I think I didn't tell you it was Dylan though. I said it was gonna be me versus you in Smash Melee, and you're like, oh yeah, I could probably get this. And then Dylan
I was
walked
completely
in.
left in the dark.
Yeah,
and
well,
you
I
can
had
see it
to.
on my facial expression too.
And
if
the
you
only
watch.
I
time-
just like was using Peach, only using like one move. I had like fucking gloves on, so I was like, I don't know what to do here.
And the only other time, it wasn't rigged because he could have beat us, but I got to give major props to Tyler Briggs because we did the Wolf Order when we formed that. We knew we had to do something really scummy, and I pitched Tyler Briggs like, hey, I want me and Taylor versus you in Smash 2v1. And we knew he was probably going to lose, but major props to him because he got the story beat of like, it put a loss on his record, but he knew like we had to do something to like get him over. And then he spent the rest of the season beating us, so it was fine. But shout out to him because he could have still beat us, but he took the bull like, okay, I'll lose there. So really understanding. I'm excited for Briggs to come back. I'm excited for you two to verse. I'm excited to see T Squared possibly get back together and take
Should
those
be a fun
titles.
year.
So
of Gauntlet
yeah.
matches.
I'm going to start off just showing off, and I have ones that I'm in, but I'm going to go unselfishly, and I'm going the oldest. I'm going to shout out Dylan Musk versus Tyler Briggs, Geek Mania 2 and Rocket League. This was one that it kicked off Geek Mania. It was really close down to the wire. It was, I think at that point, maybe the closest match we'd ever had as far as just anything in general. So yeah, that's the one I'm shouting out. You can, like I said, that's Geek Mania 1. It's the very first match. It's Briggs versus Tyler, or it's Briggs versus Dylan Musk, and that's the one for me because it was uber close. So, and it created
Yeah.
Dylan's retirement.
True, it sure did. I'm gonna shout out just a very recent one from our 24-hour stream this year. But just, I mean, the sports match between you three in general was a lot of fun for me to watch. But I mean, Kirklin, it's got to go to that fucking double eagle chip in.
Yeah.
In Wii golfing, that was just one of the sickest shots
Highlight
that
of my career.
I've ever seen in like my entire life of Wii Sports, let alone to happen in a gauntlet match, like for a title, defending like that was just so sick. So
Yeah,
to me,
that was wild.
I mean that whole I mean, that whole event was a lot of fun, but that was kind of the moment that I think stood out a whole lot.
I think if we should be getting to a 5-year anniversary Gauntlet. If we ever do like a best of moments or like plays or something, that's definitely one in the top 5 for sure, because that came out of nowhere and that was a crushing defeat. When I saw that, I was like, oh man.
Yeah, because that's not only like something that you see on the scoreboard, that hits you in the heart.
Oh yeah, it took me out of it right there.
That's a huge motivational thing for Kirkland and momentum there.
Alrighty, yeah, I'm gonna shout out. I'll probably leave the next one for you, because I'm assuming you'll shout out that one.
Maybe.
Taylor, I'm pointing at you. But I'm gonna go Travis v Kyle on their Rocket League finale. I feel like, was that the last game of the finale?
It was, yeah. We did that one. I was gonna show. I didn't want to be selfish. That is, props to Kyle and myself. The highest watch Gauntlet match. We did NBA, and then we did Mario Sluggers, and then we did Rocket League. And each time NBA, he had the lead for the whole half. I took it. I had the whole lead for the half in Sluggers. He took it. And then it came down to that last thing in Rocket League, and that was to retire him. And I just remember there's a great moment of me winning and me and Taylor celebrating. And Kyle just he sold it really well in character, but that for me is the best. I always throw it as the best Gauntlet match. Yeah, I'm a little biased, but it's just because the story was good. We did this whole breakup angle and everything like that, but it was wild. I couldn't believe that.
And that ending. Oh, I watched that numerous times of the ball just slowly going into his net.
Oh yeah,
I just kind of shouted out that whole grand finals because I think one thing Kyle's he's like just the eternal underdog, right? He's not like a huge gamer in general, but he does play more sports games.
Yeah.
So that was definitely just an exciting like grand final. And that was on my list as well.
Mm-hmm.
Groovy.
Taylor.
So I kind of go. I'm just gonna try to rank these. It's gonna be hard, but
you're shouting out a bunch. Wow, here we go.
My fifth one is
one at a time here for my poor fingers.
My fifth one is probably, I think it was, I can't remember the context of the match, but it was me versus Tyler Briggs, and then me and Travis. I was wearing my kick-ass costume, and me and Travis ended up switching the costume.
I think that would be a good. I think that's a good moment because the match we switched in Mario Kart, and I was wearing the kick-ass one, and the whole. I've watched that back many times. It's me trying to pretend I'm Taylor, and Taylor trying to pretend he's me covered up, and it was really good. And Briggs also, his face the entire time was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna lose the belt. This isn't fair." And I had to tell him between breaks, I'm like, "Don't worry, if you lose the belt, we're not gonna take it away from you."
He just has a look of being unimpressed.
Oh yeah, because I think he thinks I'm trying to screw him out of this title. Oh, I'm gonna, but it was, and he beat us at the end. It didn't even matter, but that was fun. Yeah. I will shout this out next because, again, to be unselfishly, I think both matches were good, but I think it's the first stream again is the Taylor and Kirkland COD match. You guys have had 2 COD matches. Both are 1 kill, both or whatever. But the thing that puts the second one on top of the cherry was the final grenade death because Kirkland just throws it, you're tied, and this was for points, and this is Taylor trying to, he was the champion at that time, so he's trying to, get that cheat code away from other people, but that was really great, and that's why that match, we're gonna have a third one at some point, but that was that's a top tier one.
There's some matches that I don't know, need to be replayed just to see how they fare a few months later, a year later, and I think that's gonna be an eternal one. You guys in COD. There's a couple questionable ones I have here, whether or not you really consider them Gauntlet match, but I was thinking back to just an early. This was before the Gauntlet even started, but it was me and Briggs versus Travis and Taylor just in Mario Strikers, I should say. Yeah, Sluggers. Mario Strikers. I don't know why this rivalry started. We were just talking smack about it, but I remember we made videos for it. We were just sending out these trash talk videos saying, yeah, we'll take your challenge. And I don't even remember what the result. You guys I think you won.
We won both times. I've been waiting to do that, but they've been close. I'm down to include that because I think that was
the conception of the Gauntlet. I feel like it rose because of that little rivalry, and we wanted to do more of that.
That was the Gauntlet before it was the Gauntlet because you guys did hype videos, we did hype videos, and I remember our friends were tuning in, asking what time to watch everything like that, and that's when we started doing promos and characters a little bit. So I think that's a unofficial Gauntlet stuff because it was there, and we've still never played it back. Yeah. I've wanted to one day play it back for Origin purposes, but the story's just not been there. The team everyone up. I was kind of hoping Wolf Order would stay together longer, but we lost a lot, so we had to break up. So, that's a good one.
We'll leave it on the board for now. We'll discuss it later. The other one is definitely not a Gauntlet match, but it's just Travis versus Taylor's wrestling match because I feel like that is very much a Gauntlet-inspired thing.
Battle for brand supremacy.
It's just why that's the invention of Pan Solo, right? That was the origins of Pan Solo.
That is the origin of Pan Solo.
Tyler Briggs, the coach, or not the coach, the referee getting knocked out. that was just such a wild match. I mean, I remember we even had like a fucking smoke machine that didn't work at
Nope,
all.
doesn't work.
It was just like a really funny day in general, and I feel like that is very much like the Gauntlet spirit as well.
Yeah.
So
I put it up there
I
for
don't know.
honorable mention. I don't know if I could
We'll keep it in the
include
honorable
it,
mention,
but
yeah.
look out 2020. A little spoiler. We are doing a rematch of that this year, and I'm excited to kick Taylor Field's ass as always. So, but you won last time by cheating. Kirklin, you got any more?
Yeah, I was gonna shout out the basically like the end of Jessica and I's like team up and friendship when we battled it out. It's just I don't know if it was like the most intense like finale, but it was just like the build up of.
What did you guys
us falling
play
out.
again in that?
It was Mario Kart was one of them.
Oh, are you talking about the time you guys faced or the team match where you guys were together?
Well, that was the last time that we were teamed up.
Yeah.
So I guess you could include that. What did we play in the?
I know. I can't remember for the life
Oh,
of me when you
gosh.
guys played at Retaliation.
I want to say Mario Tennis was in there. Maybe that was no, it was as teams you guys played Mario Tennis.
Yeah, I
'Cause
think.
wasn't your matches like essentially things you had played as a team?
Yeah,
That was like the idea, right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
feel like Mario Tennis was one of them.
Mario Tennis was probably one. I thought it was Mario
and
Kart,
maybe
but
Mario Kart.
maybe I'm
because 'cause
mistaken.
wasn't it Mario Kart like battle mode? Wasn't that one of
I
them?
think
believe
so.
you're right.
Yeah.
We did that in the teams as well, though. I don't know if we did that 1v1.
Yeah,
It's tough.
Yeah.
hard to recall. But that is a
Yeah.
great one of the great.
Just to
team-ups
shout
of
it out.
all
I didn't
time.
write it in my notes, otherwise I would have done more
It's on the
research
board.
into what. Yeah, exactly.
Always
There
good
you
to
go.
have more stuff.
Taylor.
What else you got?
I'm gonna throw out Ruben's debut when he popped in the ladder match. He just absolutely dominated.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it was like high hopes for this guy,
He
and
beat-
since then
oh,
he
yeah.
just was garbage.
Well, he's. I still wish he was around because his career is just so crazy. Because he beat everybody,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying this as a brag. Just accept me because I wasn't in that match. But he beat Dylan. He beat Jessica. He beat
me
Kirkland.
in,
He beat.
Conquest. I remember that.
Yeah, he beat Taylor. He beat everybody, and I thought, oh, for sure he's gonna be beating you for the title. And then you beat him like 3-1 or whatever in the best of 5. And then he did it
Yeah.
again in Smash where he won a big tournament, and then he didn't beat Briggs. So he just could never. He could never win the big one, unfortunately. But that was just
Very-
impressive.
Very much like probably the most chaotic character in Gauntlet history is Ruben's runs. But
Oh yeah.
that was quite the entrance, right? Because he was an unknown variable at that point, and he came in. Wasn't he wearing a fucking blue suit on that day too?
No, that was
Oh,
for the
that was-
title
Yeah,
match.
that
That was
title
later.
match. Yeah,
Yeah, but
Travis
he
was
just-
throwing a
He just
curveball.
came
to
in
him.
and fucking destroyed everyone.
Yeah, and that was a
That
big.
was savage.
That was a big surprise because Taylor again didn't know. I always like to try and have a surprise there, but he didn't know it was Ruben, and he even asked, like, I haven't even talked or met Ruben at all. So it was a really good moment. Threw Taylor off, but yeah. The other one, this is one that includes me, but I would shout because I think it's Jessica's best match is the Pokken one
Oh,
we
yeah.
had at the tournament this year.
That was crazy.
One, just because Jessica, I think, has I got to give her props because she has not had a good Geek vs. Gauntlet career. She's lost a lot, but she's been in a lot of hard matches or difficult positions. But I always say, like, Taylor got, but Jessica really got what they're going for at the early beginning because she was always good at the trash talking, always good at staying in character. And it was good because I was pretty confident I was going to beat her. And I'm excited to play that again one day with her because we were neck to neck that entire time. And it was just, it was good. And that was her first match in like back in 2 years or back in a year. And then it started her like ascent.
And that was like definitely her biggest tournament was this year. So that was
Oh,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
100%.
She's been in there since the beginning. So the fact that it's coming out now in 2019 with like her biggest performance
Mm-hmm.
yet. Just showed another one from that tournament. I loved that Uno Rush match
Oh, yeah.
because it's
was
just insane.
exhilarating.
Like the likeliness of what actually occurred where like they I believe it was who was the team? It was Saris. No, it wasn't Saris. It was
It was
Clinton.
Clinton and Jessica.
Yeah,
versus
Clinton and
me
and
Jessica
Taylor.
had literally 1 point, which is probably the equivalent of 1 card difference. If one more card had been played from them, or one more card, you guys had one more card on your team, one more card collectively, then they would have won that match. But then it
249.
ended up going back, and you guys ended up taking it. That was like, that honestly might be the single closest match like of all time, just because that one fucking card would have changed everything, and that could have changed the whole outcome of the whole tournament too. So
100%.
that was
yeah.
that was a wild match. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
write that one down.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, that affected bets too that were placed on that match. So just crazy.
And the other one I want to shout to him because this is my excuse me last one I have for the teams, and another close one is the conquest of the Geek vs. Gauntlet tournament. 3, and then the live stream 2. It was Taylor and Briggs versus Kirklin and Saris. And man, that was watching that on the sidelines. That was
Yeah.
crazy. It was just we were talking about this in another cast, but the polls just kept going up and down, and I didn't know which way it was going to go. I had major points on it, so luckily. The team I wanted to win, but it was crazy watching on the sidelines.
Conquest has had a great run in the
Oh,
Gauntlet
yeah.
history, but I feel like that match was so cool because I feel like you and Sarah just had an internal bond after that.
Yeah,
I feel like
it
you
was-
guys have just had this energy together ever since that moment because you guys just had such great energy, like working together in that match.
I feel like that was our first time like playing together as well, like
Yeah.
on a video game like
For
ever.
sure.
So it was pretty crazy that we were able to bond so like easily.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. He popped off. I
Uh-huh.
felt like he carried me there, but it was good.
Well, I mean, Conquest is such a weird
It
fucking game.
is.
It's like so much is dependent on the CPU.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
if
know.
you have a good
Scary
run
game.
on like one of the heroes, like
Yeah.
you can just pop off.
Yeah.
Like if no one can take you down. Oh,
That's true.
You guys played. I don't know what the third game is because we didn't get to, but you played Overcooked and what was it? Mario Tennis. So you did do that, and then yeah, you beat her twice. So,
Right. Yeah. Overcooked. Gotta love Overcooked.
Yeah, Overcooked.
Great game.
Yeah.
I'm going to shout out another one here. I think this one might be just be kind of an honorable mention. I don't know if it's quite on the tier of those other ones, but I loved seeing Saris and Clinton play for the first time in the sports tournament when they played that just fucking snowboard game.
Yeah, that
from,
was
like,
a
the
good
PS1 era, Cool Borders too.
Cool borders.
Such a janky, weird game, but I just loved seeing those two go at it. I don't think it's going to be quite on this tier. I think it was just for me personally, since they were my roommates at the time. It was really fun to see them face against each other. So
Worth a shout out.
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
definitely worth a shout out. What else do I got here? How about this? Going way back to the first tournament, charades. A different time in the Gauntlet history when we
Yeah.
played that fucking Star Wars trivia game. We had
Which I'm
charades.
still mad about. I'm still mad. I lost my first place ranking because Taylor read the answer out. You can go back to the match.
He did.
I
He
was
really did.
yeah, and that screwed me over. I shouldn't have because then whatever happened, I ended up
Oh.
being in second place. I had to play Dylan Rocket League.
Yeah.
The very first time I'd ever played Rocket League. So
But
like
wasn't the question like, it was something stupid like what is what is light speed or something, and then like someone picked.
no,
all
I think
three.
it was who said this to Luke, and then someone said
Okay.
Qui-Gon. It was supposed to come next to me, and then he was like Yoda, and I was like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Instinct.
yeah. Because we included that. Yeah, we took that out because we did the movie top 20. We kept that. Or
Now
the,
I'm thinking about that one's like that was quite a wild match too.
yeah, I think one day we'll do that again, but separate from the Gauntlet because I just personally felt it was too weighted for me, just because I just. But there was charades was pretty fun. I remember Briggs actually had to act out 101
That was
Dalmatians, and he
hilarious.
was
Yeah.
doing a tail and everything like that.
Flopping around. Is that worthy of this list? You guys think, or is that just more of a fun shout out?
I think it's a fun shout out
Shout out.
because I think we weren't too intense, but I think you should go back and check out the charades and the movie
Yeah.
top 10. Who Kurt Taylor is the worst at. He's lost
Hey,
every time.
Jessica didn't help at all.
But
with
you
that
also
movie thing.
lost when you did it again against Ruben, so you just
Okay, against Ruben, that was a horrible experience. But like Jessica, there's no way I figured it was Inside Out. That was horrible. It still haunts me to this day what the movie.
and that
was.
talking about
Yeah.
how things switched. That happened, and then Dylan, you were like sitting second last, and then you and Emily got Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows like second question. That boosted you all the way up.
Yep.
So those charades and
That
top
was
10s
sick.
are dangerous. Yeah.
I'm going to shout out one more from the first tournament. This
Mhm.
is actually just because I want to have a shout out from every single player. And I mean, Emily didn't play long in the Gauntlet, but your match against her.
I forgot the Goldeneye
the
one.
Goldeneye
yeah.
match, because she was leading for like a while and it was really close, but then like right at the end you came back and clutched it
Yeah.
out. I remember that was one of the like most hype matches of that day.
I forgot about that because I was like, man, this is embarrassing. It's my own podcast. I'm going to lose my first match. And I won. Yeah, that was a good one, that Goldeneye one. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, that first tournament. That first tournament was wild and everything like that.
It
That
was.
was one Taylor didn't win in a single game, and you got your
I
reputation.
won at Mario Party.
What? You did. I forgot about that one. But it was
I remember this first tournament.
It was
haunts
all,
me.
it was we only did 5 rounds because we were running out of time, so you're lucky. So and we also did Avalon for that tournament, but the footage
Oh,
got
yeah.
corrupted, so it never was
Yeah,
seen.
I forgot about that.
It was never seen. But the
Forgot
first
about that.
tournament was wild. We just did a bunch
It was
of
a
stuff.
different time in the
Oh,
Gauntlet
yeah.
history.
Yeah. Taylor, because I know you had a list of 5. Did you have any you haven't heard yet?
Yeah, I want to also shout out the. I think it was for the main belt, and it was a 6-way smash.
Yeah.
When it looked like all hope was lost. He knocked me down. I was underneath the platform, and then all of a sudden, this mystical platform just
Oh,
comes
yeah.
in out of
I remember
nowhere.
that.
Grab it, jump up, spin around, knock Travis out. Oh, it was so good.
I was so excited because I was actually about to defend the title in a 6-way. I'm like, man, I'm gonna verse Ruben. That's gonna be really interesting. And that platform,
Yeah.
you can win. You can say you won, but that platform fucking
just
saved you. So I
legendary.
watch that clip all the time.
Wait, is that from the Smash tournament or that?
no, the
just free
6-way,
for-all?
yeah, the free for all where he
Right.
won his title.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Ugh.
In that same vein, I mean, it's kind of hard to do like a whole day worth of events, but I love that Smash tournament, which
Yeah,
all
yeah.
of you guys.
Yeah.
It was fun because that was kind of Clinton's entrance into the Gauntlet as well. He was joining me on the commentary desk, but that whole day was a lot of fun, and I think
Mhm.
like Kirklin really proved that he does know he can hold his own in Smash. There was a lot of surprising matches, and once again, it was like Ruben kind of just popped off. And it
Destroyed,
was cool
yeah.
to see that. 'cause
Yeah.
He's always he's kind of like a silent guy. He'll just kind of come in and destroy everyone.
Well,
so.
again, like here's another moment too that's kind of more like an honorable mention. He just abandoned me, and I had to pull out an amiibo.
Roy.
Yeah.
Roy was OP. God damn.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
threw me down.
Yeah, I would shout to the first time the only time me and Dylan won the title, but we had a fantastic 5-way again, or best of 5
Yeah.
with Briggs and Saris.
Yeah,
That's how we took the
T-squared,
title. Yeah, we played Smash for the Wii U, and it literally went down to best 5 because that's the only. All best of 5s have never gone the distance except for that one, and it was down to the wire. I remember we picked the Wii Fit Studio, and oh man, that was really hype, especially because like Briggs had been on a roll, so to take a title off him was pretty nice. So yeah.
What do I got here? I got this one. This one's just another pure destruction match, but Kirklin versus Travis for the sports title match, because this is a 3-0. On paper, Kirklin destroyed Travis. However, all 3 of those matches couldn't have been closer.
It's so
It was
frustrating.
insane how close they were. And that wasn't that the Toad Mario Sluggers
Oh, yeah.
match?
What was his name?
Or was that
No,
it
yeah,
was
like Toadsworth or something?
Toadsworth. Yeah,
Oh
that was
my
his name.
God.
Toadsworth,
yeah.
you were using Toadsworth,
Yeah.
and it was
Oh,
just
yeah.
like this underdog pick who was apparently fucking OP.
His
but that
pitches
that
are
whole
insane.
match, all those matches were great. 'Cause
Yeah.
they were so close, but like, it was just so heartbreaking. For
Oh,
Travis
yeah,
as well,
that's
'cause you like trained hard as well. And
Oh,
just
yeah.
couldn't pull it out.
That's definitely one where I learned you got for myself right now with kids. I got to stay in one division because I was team champ doing everything. I'm like, I did not prepare for
Spread
this as
yourself
much as I
thin.
would have wanted. I have my headspace, so I was like, that's why once I play again Gauntlet, I'm sticking to one division at a time till I get a title. But then 2, yeah, it is a 3-0, but that's what I hate. I love that match, but that's what I hate because just like one wrong, like. Any certain type of move, could have been a 3-0 on my side because each one, the FIFA was down to like
FIFA was so close.
FIFA
yeah.
was close. What was the first one we played again?
Like tennis, right?
Tennis, and I actually prepared because I really wanted to be. And that was the other thing. I picked the games that I like. The games that he didn't want was like at the time Wii Sports and Tony Hawk. I didn't
Yeah.
pick those because I was trying to be fucking big cock on the street. Like I'm gonna be in Mario Tennis. I was trying to make a statement,
Yeah.
but I still hate that all those were all down to 1 point and I could have switched. But the actual match itself, I hate that's the 3-0 because people will look at it and be like, "Oh, I got cream," but everyone was so close. No, that was a
Yeah.
good one. From the outside, I'm gonna be like, "Man, it was close," but. Oh, it
Yeah.
still stings. It still stings.
I was also I don't think it has to go on like the list, but just like honorable mention of just like our past like sports title finals. Like I remember the first one when it just
2-0,
ended.
yeah.
Yeah, it finished like the UFC, just terrible. Like 10 seconds in, I think we brought that back like the second time,
Mhm.
and then the opposite happened.
Yeah,
I
you
ended
got
up
me in-
knocking you
yeah.
out. Like it's just like very close competitive matches we've had in the past.
Actually,
Madden, still beating you
I
on
just
that.
added one we talked about. I didn't write for some reason, but Taylor versus Penn Solo, just because that was such a wild match.
Good build up.
I think that's everything I wrote down, I believe.
Yeah, I only
I
got
know
one
more.
honorable mention in that we did the Civil War, which we're gonna do Civil War again, but the Civil War in the stream it was a mess because we had 2 people had to leave and some people are unsure on the rules. But in
Ruben
there,
had to go to a movie.
yeah, in there there's this small little pocket of
Ruban.
I had never lost at Madden, and Kyle's like, sure, I'll play in Madden. And first thing into my play is Aaron Rodgers in the game gets injured, so I'm playing with a lesser team. And Kyle beat me, and there's like he just destroyed me. And there's like some highlights I put. You can go watch the highlight for the 24-hour stream for it's the I think it was the second one. But yeah, he from out of nowhere just got these Hail Marys, but yeah, not on the list. But I wanted to shout that out. So
I want to shout out in the last 24-hour stream, me and Kirklin. You know, after the buildup of our 2 COD matches and just having me and him just team up playing COD, it was it was ruthless. It was just we really bonded.
it
in that
was, but
time.
I still think you guys you won. You took the titles off us, great, and that could change in the future. But like you still let me got quite a few kills, which I think is a little embarrassing as someone that
Oh,
hasn't
not at
played-
all.
I do. I really do. Dylan fucking 15 owed me once, and you guys like at one point we got pretty close to like tying up, and then they destroyed us. But I was surprised. I haven't played COD in like a good decade.
It'll happen when you're up against multiple people. Like someone can just walk around the corner, but it's okay because I set claymores and you stepped on my claymores in
100%.
random doorways, so it's all good.
I forgot what a claymore was.
But like that
Claymores.
whole matchup, and then again when we went in Rocket League, we were just
Yeah,
like,
that was good.
just
The Rocket League was
romping
awesome.
it.
Half asleep trash now.
All right, any more additions, or are we gonna start pruning?
No,
this
I
down?
think we should.
You kind of have a
prune.
bad view there, don't you?
I can see here, and then when I go there, so I'm good.
Okay.
I think
Any more additions? Sorry, or are we good?
no,
to-
I think I'm good.
I think we'll start right there. I think Kirkland versus Taylor. I think one of these COD matches is in there, but I'd say not the doubles one.
Yeah.
No, I say
Yeah.
it's the first one. It's the 1v1 with the grenade specifically from Geek vs Gauntlet Tournament 3, the stream 2.
Is there any other ones on here that can kind of be kicked off? Anything you feel Should be gone right
I think
away.
Kirklin versus Jessica, we can't because we forgot what the matches were.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Let's see. I think we could kick off Ruben's debut just for now because I think if we ever do a best moments or debuts, that's it. Because same thing, Kirkland's surprise against Taylor was good in COD, but the actual matches aren't great because it was just Ruben kicking the shit out of all
Yeah.
you guys for an hour, and I'm just sitting there like,
Right.
oh my god, what happened? The closest match, there was one match in there actually that I would put, but it's fine. Was I forgot that Kirkland and Ruben played Pokemon Stadium, and it was like down to the wire because they both had
Really
no
close.
experience with
Right.
it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
All right.
Sorry, what is the kick-ass match again? Is you in a kick-ass?
I think
That was
you
me
can
and
take that
Travis.
off.
We can take it off.
That's
It was
more of
me
a moment when we
alternating costumes.
Yeah.
when we switch places. I think that's more of
I
a
don't remember
moment.
the games for that one.
Yeah,
so.
we played Mario Kart. We played you and Taylor.
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye. Yeah, and then
Okay, here's could make this easier. This Strikers OG match before this wasn't technically a Gauntlet match because it happened before the Gauntlet.
yeah.
Do you guys feel like that's worthy of this list, or is it more of an honorable mention because it's not technically a Gauntlet match? Where do you guys feel on that
I think
one?
we should come back to that. Like, if we have 5 that we like out
Yeah.
of the main Gauntlet stuff, then that's good.
But
If
leave
we
it
land
for
with
now.
like 4, then we can throw that in. So,
yeah.
I mean, should we put things next to ones that are like a lock for now?
Yeah, is there
Because I
any-
feel like the Kirkland versus Taylor COD, that second one
for
is
me, that's a
definitely
lock. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
can lock that one.
Yeah. The two ones I think I would take off because it's more for moments is Taylor v Pan Soul and then the sports
Yeah.
three-way because you got the Eagle chip shot and it is a good one, but when I look at some of these other ones, I think
Yeah.
because obviously it ended up being just a 2-0. The bowling ended up getting ugly where Kirkland just kind of took a
I
lead.
don't know. I keep the chip in. I think that was pretty legendary because it was still like possible.
I just
right?
also think
To me, that's the moment of that whole day of events.
oh yeah, 100%.
And it's a legendary shot. And
Mhm.
that like cemented the win. I don't know. I want to keep that one in there right now.
Sure.
We'll see how it goes.
'Kay.
We'll see how it goes. Looking at this, I love the Uno Rush match because it's
Of the
like I was saying the closest
Yeah.
match in history.
the probability
Where do
of
you guys
it.
feel on that one? I'm
I'd
also
keep
biased
it.
because I love Uno Rush, and I was been pushing for months to get that game in there, and finally got in, and it was like a big success. So I'm really happy.
I'd
about
say keep it because like me and
Yeah.
Travis, like we didn't practice for that, and I
Yeah.
just going in that I thought we're for sure gonna lose, and like
Yeah.
it wasn't looking
Okay,
good.
we'll keep that one.
This
Uh,
Pokken one was really, really good too.
It
Just like
was.
how close it was at the end.
Yeah, that one
I'm
was
hesitant to
really
take
good.
that off right now.
And there was a lot on the line for that one too,
Yeah.
in terms of points, right?
This is tough, all of these.
This is very tricky.
Well, if we keep Uno Rush and we keep Pokken, then we still have 2 left, which could be.
How close was this one? I don't really remember
I
that
don't
one.
remember that one.
It was
I
down
think
to
it's
the wire.
more, yeah, because that one is more just like I don't know. We had some good Smash matches in there as well. Like there's just a lot that happened in those grand
Oh,
finals
okay.
games. Whether or not you could peg it as just the Rocket League match. I think-
Well, no, you guys
Yeah.
played a Rocket League match separately, just on its own.
Oh, is that what that's from?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought that was like a culmination of a best of 3 or
No,
something.
no. You've
Oh,
you've done
okay.
Smash, you've done the Sonic Adventures game or
Oh,
whatever
God.
that is, but no, that was its own
Yeah.
one.
I do remember it being very intense, but
I would say for the purposes of the list, when we're going back to it, I would take out the 2. I'd take out the Smash Free For All, and I would take out the Strikers OG because the Striker OG I think is a good shutout, but I don't think it's the quality
it's
of
the
these other
honorable
ones.
list of mentions.
It is, yeah. And the Smash one, same thing. I think that's a
Yeah.
moment, but
I agree.
we also had like Emily and Jessica in there who were just there to fill the 6 slots.
How
and
do you
everything.
guys feel on the Smash Free For All? 'Cause to me, it's heartbreaking because everyone was targeting me, and then Dennis takes away with this win. It
Yeah.
was a good match. However, I feel like even the Smash tournament had like some better Smash moments. Personally,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
What do you think, Taylor? I know you got some bias on the line for that.
Yeah. I've never heard us break the microphone so loud in a match, but
Yeah.
I think compared to it, like that was only like the intensity of the ending, whereas the competition
Yeah.
had several good moments throughout the whole event. So
Mhm.
I would go with the competition.
Yeah, and that's what you're talking about. The only one for me, and it's obviously because I'm might be biased, I'm in it, but I always go to the Travis Kyle one just because of the way every match went. How someone was in the beginning with the lead, and then it switched, and then it switched, and it was a big crescendo. I think if the Rocket League didn't pay off and it sucked, because if you watch that Rocket League back, we were playing till 10. Kyle was up 5-0, and I was really screwed, and somehow I still
Yeah.
came back. And then I got to about 8, and Kyle came back up. So that's why for me, I always look at that one for one of those like the comeback stories that somehow happened. So for me, that's
yeah.
my only one that I'm really strong on.
I would agree
I
with
feel
that one.
similar on this one too, just for like how close it was. Like even
Yeah.
FIFA Street, like I think you were ahead by like quite a few goals.
I
and
was
then
ahead
ended
in
up coming back.
every single one.
Yeah.
And then I
Seems
lost.
like sports has. Yeah,
what
don't
I'm
know.
kind of looking at now is like Kirkland v. Taylor, Travis versus Jessica, Uno Rush, Travis versus Kyle, and then Kirkland versus Travis Sports. That's kind of where I'm looking at
So
it.
you're saying to eliminate Emily, Travis, and Conquest?
Yeah.
I think we can take out the 007 match.
Yeah, it was a good shout out,
It's a
yeah.
great one.
Go watch it. It was really
It
good.
is. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. These are all matches you should watch. If you enjoy video games, you enjoy drama, these are the best of the best. Or there's just some really
All right,
comedic
so we
ones.
need to peel
And
out
then, and plus in the
three of
sports
these.
Travis v. Kyle match, you have Dylan who we'll go watch the NBA one. I hated him the entire time because he just made me laugh the entire time. I can't. There's some good one-liners he had, and I was trying to focus, and I couldn't. I can't remember the line, but there's one point where I paused the game. I took a timeout and I walked.
Baby,
up.
I'm not playing your game.
Oh yeah. I scored, and he says, "Kyle, baby, I'm not playing your game," and I just had to walk off and regroup and cut the footage. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I
Dylan
think
has
that
some
one's a
gems of
lock.
commentary,
I think
yeah.
that one's a lock
Yeah.
for me, the Travis versus Kyle sports
I
match.
think
Yeah.
that the COD, I do think the Uno Rush is a lock because it's it
Uno
was
Rush was wild.
I would
Yeah.
agree. I
Yeah.
would agree. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
Lock Uno Rush?
Lock it.
Yeah, they don't remember as well. For me, like the Rocket League and Briggs and Dylan is a lock just because
It's been a while. I think it's that one's not as fresh in my memory.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's one that everyone, if it doesn't even make the list, everyone go back and watch because for me it was the closest match we had up until that point because
Yeah.
lots of times we did random games. I don't know why I'm standing because the camera can't see me. But that's the only one on me. The rest of the ones you guys could kind of debate and I kind of see
I think
the
I
case.
have a
but
much better memory of matches I wasn't in personally.
yeah.
That's why I didn't really shout out any of mine. But
Mhm.
so yeah, I don't remember this one as well. Like I don't know.
I don't
think
remember it.
yeah, I remember more when I was commentating stuff. So
Mhm.
what do you guys think of that one? You don't?
I don't remember it.
Yeah, so we'll cut it for that reason.
Okay. Shout out, everyone go watch it. It's first Geek Mania. It's a very, very good match.
All right, so we're down to.
So the Conquest, you said you really
two
liked
more.
it because it was just so back and forth.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah.
Well, because if we're
It was
looking,
high energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
if we're looking at these last two, I would take out the sports because for the viewers or the listeners, we have Kirkland versus Travis, the three-way. We have the three-way sports for the tournament, and then we have the Conquest. I would take out the three-way. I know you got the Eagle chip shot. I'm just going with those other two because they're closest. So that's where I throw my vote.
I
I'd
don't
be
know,
inclined to keep the three-way.
Yeah, which one would you get out then?
I would cut Conquest.
I would cut Conquest.
Okay,
too.
Kirkland.
To me, that double eagle chip in is like possibly the single like highest skill cap moment of any Gauntlet match ever.
God tier.
Like it is god tier. That shot is fucking wild.
Yeah.
So.
That moment was absolutely insane. It was crazy that a lot of people were actually tuning in like
Yeah.
at that moment. So a lot of people that I know saw it.
Right.
So like that was really hype. But like some of I don't know because golf just takes a long time. I felt like it kind of
It did. Drag
kinda dragged a
at
bit, but,
times.
like,
And
with
Taylor
moments
went
like that, it
haywire
was just
made
hype.
it longer.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of fun though too.
Yeah.
Made it
Full
No,
exhilarating.
absolutely.
stage energy on that one. Yes.
The Conquest one. Maybe it's just because I was competing in it, but I didn't remember it being like as close as it
I feel
was.
like that was a late night thing. I don't know
Yeah.
why. Was it? I don't know.
No, it was in the middle of the day because we
Yeah.
started in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So this one I don't have
I
the
would
highest
say,
memory on,
Like
but
to me, I look at it this way: like sports three-way is kind of the highlight of that tournament that day. I know they're different tournaments, like the main
Yeah.
Yeah.
and this.
That event.
But to
yeah.
me, that's like the highlight of the day, and so that for that reason, I'd maybe cut this Travis versus Jess Poker match, even though it is a great match.
oh okay.
Oh, I didn't even see that on
I
there.
don't
Yeah,
know
it's still on there.
because that Travis versus Jessica, like it was
The ending-
really high energy. It
The
was
ending
really
was literally like
crazy.
one hit away.
Yeah.
I
It
think.
literally
I think,
was.
I think
And
Travis
it was
just had to hit
It was
her.
very important for points. I remember too.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot that was on there.
I'd say maybe we cut the Conquest one just because.
Yeah.
I'm not as fresh. on it.
I'm not as
Cut
fresh
that
on it.
out.
Okay.
So.
Great match. Shout out to Saris.
It's good that we have this many great matches.
Yeah.
So we have to one more. We have to cut one more, and then we'll have a top five. So what we've
Ooh.
locked so far: Travis versus Kyle in the sports. Just like that whole grand final in general,
Yeah.
I guess. Kirkland versus Taylor and COD. Could be either of them. Could be your doubles, but really it's like that final one, as you
Yeah.
mentioned, that big grenade kind of final kill there. And then Uno Rush for just like the closest match in Gauntlet history. Change difference of one card.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to pick. We just have to cut one
That's
more
tough.
between Kirkland, Travis, sports finale, Travis versus Jessica, and Pokin, sports three-way.
So
I
hard.
I want to lock the sports three-way.
I'm looking at it like we have right now on the board. We have two things for sports. So I feel like one of them should go, and I feel like the sports three-way is a lock at this point. So
Yeah.
I still stay where I am. I'm at the sports three, so it's up to you guys. Just because I get there is the moment, but I just go for if you watch start to finish, which one you're gonna enjoy.
Yeah.
I think you'd watch the Eagle chip in, and then maybe you'd get bored of it and go because the
You'd
golf
catch the
does take a little
highlights or
long. Yeah.
something, yeah.
And the
Yeah.
only reason you'd get bored is just because Kirkland had such a big lead. If we were all closer, I think it'd be better. But he had such a big lead at that point, it was not the case. So that's just my
Yeah.
my input.
Where are you feeling, Kirkland?
I
As the guy that competed in both of these matches,
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel on them?
I feel like all the way through, this one's a lot more enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
But that one definitely had like the biggest moment of like possibly any
Yeah.
Gauntlet.
I mean, the Toadsworth moment in here is a great sequence as well.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I could see it.
This one was very, very close and like highly competitive. So
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't really
wondering
want
if
to
we
take that
have
one
some
away.
recency bias on this one a bit.
Recency bias. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it came down to it, if the Sportsway was 3, I would keep Kirkland and myself versus the Jessica and Travis because, yes, that was for points, but that was for the sports title, and that was just so close the whole time. Both of them are close, but I think that had bigger implications.
Yeah,
so.
that is true. There's a lot of build up to it.
Oh man, I'm kind of either way. They're all great matches. I think if I had to cut one, I would cut the Pokken match.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So Travis is cutting the 3-way match. What would you cut?
I might sound a little biased, but I feel like I want to cut this one.
Okay.
Pokken, yeah.
Mr. Field?
Biased over here.
You're the
I would
tiebreaker here.
cut. I'm the tiebreaker.
Potentially.
I would want to cut the Kirkland Travis
This
Sports
one?
finish.
Ooh.
So see,
the Pokemon will get cut then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah, there you go. Okay,
Man.
read those off. I need to use the facilities.
That was tough.
Yeah, it was. Good matches. Check out season 3 part 2 coming this year.
All right. So, yeah, at the end, I mean, we have a long list of honorable mentions, but in the end, we're going to go with the sports 3-way match between Kirkland, Travis, and Taylor, which had just the sickest double elo chip in of all time.
Are we gonna keep these on the board, or are we gonna just write them down? Yeah, I'll write them down.
Do you want to write them down?
Yeah, I'll write them down.
I'll take our other lists, but for right now. We also have Kirkland versus Travis in the sports finale. This was a 3-0, but the closest 3-0 of all time. Really just sick matches all around. Also had the Toadsworth, which was just hilarity ensuing at how janky that character is. We also have Travis versus Kyle in the sports. Was that a grand final or was it another? I can't remember if it was a grand final, but it felt like it. I think it was because it was a Kyle underdog story. You came to the very end, you ended up popping off.
But you didn't win the belt, right?
Yeah, I guess not, right?
No.
So, I don't know.
Oh, but Travis won that. I think
Yeah.
it was like a number one contender.
I think it was just like a great showing from Kyle.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
And then Kirkland versus Taylor in COD. I mean, you guys have had a lot of COD greatness over the years. But, yeah.
Yes, we
Shout
have.
outs to that kind of the second time you guys played in that, I guess. And then Uno Rush from our recent 24-hour stream this year, which is a really fun teams match that had some crazy outcomes. The closest Gauntlet match of all time.
The probability
Yeah.
factor there.
The probability is so low that it goes the way it does. And the same as like the Pokemon that we just cut, but like, man, the points would have been
Yeah.
all different had that changed. So overall, that's a great list of Gauntlet matches.
That is. All right.
That's you got them right down?
I got it. Kirkland v. Taylor COD, Travis v. Kyle Sports, 1v1v1 for the sports title, Kirkland v. Travis Sports final, and Uno Rush.
So next, I think we're going to go into our personal top 10 list. So these are our top 10
Yes.
games of the decade. I don't know who's going to go first, and maybe this is a
So we're gonna rack them
maybe this
off,
is
right?
a question that needs to be asked. But what were you looking at, right? What were you looking at when you're picking your games here?
This one's, I feel like it was fairly easy for me to form this list because it's the games that stuck with me the most throughout the decade. Like when I was making this list, I basically just sat down and wrote down the games that I thought came out in the last decade and then like researched them and then like found out that like some came out like 2009 or something. So it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
that can't go on there. But like ones that just like I will always praise them and always recommend them to people that I think like those types of
Mhm.
games. And
So you're not taking into account like the influence of these games or like
no,
relevance.
these are very
Yeah.
personal lists to me.
I think we might take that into account when we do our
Yeah.
first games of the decades.
I
but
made-
for our
yeah.
personal list.
Exactly.
It's just,
I basically made like 2 lists of games. Like some of like the second list was games that I wanted to throw onto like the collective list.
Yeah.
I haven't even really like played through a lot of these, but it's just like games that
That are
I
relevant.
figured are gonna make it on the list.
I'm pretty much in the same boat
Yeah.
as what you just
Okay.
described for personal games. I did mine a bit differently though. I did I picked my favorite game of each year and then I ranked those
okay.
against each other just because I wanted to switch it up. I feel like if I did just directly my top 10 games, it'd maybe have 3, 4, maybe 5 differences. So it's still
Yeah.
like a pretty accurate list.
Okay.
But I just wanted to do that for my own. I
Yeah.
don't know because I wanted to. That's why. That's the only reason I need. Do you, Taylor or Travis? Do you guys have different descriptors of?
No, pretty similar. I go
Yeah.
by memories. I'm a bit more of a story-based guy, so you'll probably find that in my list as far as what I like. And I also just replayability, the games that I went back to a lot and just went, oh, I could play this over and over again. And so, yeah, pretty similar, but those are probably 2 different ones, are the story and replayability.
I'm not gonna write these all down on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
I have them on my laptop though, so I'll record your guys' top 10s. Who wants to go first? We're going to do it like just one at a
Taylor,
time.
why'd you pick your top 10 games?
Let's hear it. Yeah, do you have a different? Do you have a
Thank
different?
you. I was putting the mouth to the mic to my mouth. Yeah, memory and just the nostalgia and replayability, same as Travis.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
I thought he had more. I'll go
He was
first.
like mad that I didn't just throw it to you. But
I'll go first because
Sure.
I feel like I'm the most like mainstream as far as gamers. So here's my quick honorable mention. So ones that did make the list. I said this in our group chat. The top 9 were easy. I right away, even the order, I'm like, oh yeah, that's number 1, that's number 2. I didn't really struggle at all. These all fell. It was just the 10th slot that was tough. So the honorable mentions I had was GTA 5, Friday the 13th, just because I had lots of good memories of that. GTA 5 I always love. These are just honorable mentions.
I'm writing them down.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna try.
This is a game that not many people have played, but I love it, is Mad Max. I think that's just like, if you talk about underrated games of the decade, that's up there. I love the vehicle gameplay and the mechanics. And then I couldn't quite put it up there. This was the toughest one, but was the newest God of War. I think if you're talking about greatest games of the decade, then sure. But if I'm going my favorite or my personal top 10, didn't quite make it. But so number 10, this is a weird one. I don't own the game, but I played enough and I love it. I'm going to buy it, is Smash Ultimate. The reason it's at 10 is just because I don't own it. I've not fully played it, but it is just, from what I've played, we played enough of the Gauntlet.
It is the ultimate Smash game.
Yeah, it's one that I know I will be buying as I have a Switch. It's just I don't have time, so I'm not going to buy right now. Last of Us, number 9, just for the story. I do like the gameplay, but the story is phenomenal. Horizon Zero Dawn at 8. I love the uniqueness of that world, and I love the gameplay as far as taking down those machines, all the difference. I like Aloy, so that was good. Number 7, Metal Gear Solid 5. I'm a Kojima fanboy. I love that game. It's so good. It just feels like an 80s action game. You're on bikes. You're on helicopters. The story is fucking nuts. It makes no sense. But you're Solid Snake. You're snaking through base camps. There's just so many moments where you're in a camp, alarm goes off, and now you're just surrounded by enemies. It's like, how am I going to get out of here? And Death Stranding has that, but this is more like you have 200 bullets, make it count. You got to shoot your way out of there. You got to break necks. It's the ultimate like Arnold Schwarzenegger, John Carpenter,
Commando.
Sort of, yeah, exactly, just mowing down people. So, number 6, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Love that game. It's everything I want. The only reason it's not in the top 5 is just because it didn't have the greatest story, but this is a game that I'm going to be playing a bunch of the next decade.
Yep.
Top 5, Spider-Man for PS4. That's in the 5th slot. I had some problems with the story, so that's maybe why it's not higher, but it was everything I wanted in a Spider-Man game. This game, these next 4 at some points were considered my favorite games of all time. So it was a good decade. Number 4, Red Dead Redemption, if you're talking story, everything like that. I think
talking number 1, I'm guessing.
Number 1, yeah. I think number 2 is superior in as far as like the technical aspects, but the story, the characters, I love the first one. Number 3, The Witcher. Love The Witcher. It's everything I want. I remember Kirklin was like railing me, trying to get like, you got to play this game because he knows I like Kotar. And then once I played it, I was like, oh yeah, this is everything I want. It's a game that I still, especially after I just reviewed the show, check that out. I go, oh, I got to play this because I want to be in that world. It's Lord of the Rings meets like Kotar meets Game of Thrones. It's just so good. I'm surprised this is number 2 for me, but Batman Arkham City. This was my favorite game of all time since that game came out. I loved it. And then my number 1 pick, I don't gotta say much because me and Dylan did like a 2.5 hour review, but it's Death Stranding.
Nice.
I think that's honestly my favorite game of all time. Now Batman has that like sentimental value because I love Batman, but it's just Death Stranding was a game that I didn't think I needed, but I have, and it's a game that I cannot wait to keep getting back into, and just the experience I had. So maybe in a few years, you asked me, and it's because Death Stranding just came out, maybe Batman and them will be fighting, but all these games were great, and those were my games of the decade.
That's a clean top 10.
Yeah.
Top 10. I like it. Who's going next?
I can go next.
The Pat?
This one I actually had to change because one of the games was 2009.
Whoa,
So,
wow, you almost
which
cheated
game?
us.
Modern Warfare 2.
So
Yeah.
a comment on that. So it's 2010 on is allowed?
Yeah.
Is that how that goes?
2010 to
From
2000.
January
Yeah.
2010.
But not from 2009 to 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's not, yeah.
Yeah. So
Does that change your list at all, Mr.
No, it locks in a pick, so I'm happy.
It locks in a pick. What do you mean? Anyway.
he wasn't sure about the
Anyway.
2010. Anyways, yeah, I had 2 games that I had to put a little asterisk. One was Modern Warfare 2. The other one was League of Legends because that game
Yeah,
is just
2009 as well, right?
2009 and as well. I wasn't sure if that was like the actual beta or like the final release,
Yeah,
and that
it's
was
tricky.
the final
Like,
release. So
Minecraft's another one of those games.
yeah,
That, like, officially released in 2012, but like I've been playing it for longer than.
yeah,
that game,
exactly. So I didn't want to put that on there.
Yeah.
This list I don't have it down to like my number 1. I feel like I would just be going back and forth.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I go through different moods of like getting into video games sometimes. So starting number 10, I had Arkham City. That was the first game I had played of like the Arkham series, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the combat. I fell in love with the story, and just being surrounded in that world of Batman. It was just sick, and I loved it.
Nice.
Number 9, I have Journey. Has anyone ever played that?
Ooh,
An
still
indie
haven't
game?
Played it, but
It's I've played through it like 2 or 3 times now, I think, and it's one of those games you got to sit down and just play in one sitting, because it's just you go on a journey, man. It's like you feel like Frodo, like going up to Mordor, right? Like by the end of it, you just feel like worn down, and it's such a great game, and I feel like honestly everyone should play it. Like
kind of innovated that sort of like genre too, of like these more experiential type games. I mean, they've always been games like that, but I feel like since that game had it like huge success that it did, I feel like it kind of changed and made more developers want to try games like that.
No, totally. And like the use of like multiplayer, how you would just like basically come upon like a random person like in the game, and then you could just do the entire game together, even though you're not talking to each other, even though you're not like like being toxic with each other, whatever it is. It's just like you can do these puzzles together, or he can just wander off, and then you'll just never see him again. Like it's just really cool, like the systems they had, and the soundtrack is phenomenal. Number 8, I have Nier Automata.
I didn't know you played that game.
I haven't finished it, but it's such
That's a good sign. Then
it's such an amazing game. Like the combat system is so fluid. The soundtrack again is just phenomenal. I think it's one of the best soundtracks I've heard in a video game. I think it has an ending for every letter of the alphabet, so there's a lot of endings to this game, and it's just very unique, and it just tackles some like really cool like philosophical things like in the story. Number 8, I have the original Dishonored. This game, I have yet to play the second one, even though I've owned it for like years now. Very heartbreaking, but I don't know why I just absolutely fell in love with this game. It was just the world, the combat style, everything about it. I just got obsessed with it, and I've probably played through the story like 6 times. Like not even kidding. There's so many cool ways that you can do things, and Arcane's so good at making worlds. So. Number 8 was Dishonored, right?
That was 7.
Yep, that was 7. Okay, number 6, I have Skyrim. This one is, I don't know why, I absolutely love this game. Put in like 600 hours probably, and I actually made a little asterisk because Skyrim specifically with mods, because I feel like I fell back in love with this game after getting on PC and then actually be able to mod it out. Because the vanilla version is very bare bones. It's very not like a deep cut like Elder Scrolls game, but just when
any like problems you have with the game, you can probably get them fixed with mods. So
exactly. So crazy. I fell in love with it after that. GTA 5, that game was just I loved it. I feel like I don't have to really say much. If you played GTA 5, it's unreal. The online is insane. Number 4, Spider-Man for PS4. I fucking love that game. That was the game I've been waiting for since I played like Ultimate Spider-Man on GameCube. Yeah. Red Dead Redemption, the original, same as Travis. Just the story, I feel like it was just so amazing, and like at the time, like that style of game, like getting a GTA on horses. Oh man, that's revolutionary.
You finished that second one yet?
Nope, that's why it's not on my list. Number 2, got Witcher 3.
Witcher.
Just unbelievable game. I've yet to beat it, but man, like
really,
yeah. So amazing. I got to get back on there. Maybe I'll get hyped after watching the show.
Oh, you will. You definitely will. You want to play Geralt Rivia.
And then number 1, maybe controversial because I haven't beaten it yet, but Death Stranding. Man.
Wow.
This fucking game is literally this game. Like
that's a surprise.
It is.
That's a big surprise.
It is
a drug, right?
It is a drug. Like it has introduced game mechanics that I never thought I wanted or needed. But man, it is so.
That's awesome.
It's so brand new to me. Like I don't know. I've never played a game where you're just.
Yeah.
I can't even say.
And the story,
the
wild,
story is
trippy.
phenomenal.
Yeah, you got Mads too.
The score is phenomenal. The actors in it, like everything about this game, man. Oh, it's
you
so
guys have
it's so original and so
list?
fresh. Yeah. Oh, we have half the same list.
Your top 5 is 4 or 5 as well.
Yeah, and then we both got Arkham City.
Right,
there,
Arkham City.
That's cool.
My I didn't really make like an honorable mention, but I had 12 on this list because I had like Modern Warfare 2, right? And like I had to take those off. The other one was Smash Ultimate because this game literally like made me happy with Smash games. I actually hated Smash before this game came out because I would always just get popped every single time. Like it would just not be fun. I would not be able to like track my character properly. I would just like always be falling off. But man, this game is so good. It's so fresh. It has every character that's ever been in Smash. Like I fucking love this game. So I didn't want to put it on my top 10 list.
That classic Kirklin Bowser is just a
man.
known entity.
I'm a force to be reckoned with. Yeah.
Nice.
Anyways, that's my list.
Taylor, where's Death Stranding on your list?
Number 1.
Whoa, big surprise.
So mine are not ranked because all these games I couldn't find it in my heart to actually rank these from 10 to my most
Couldn't find
favorite.
it in your
They
heart.
all have strong nostalgic reasons behind them.
Strong.
Can I ask you, is there more than one of a franchise on there? Like, is there more than one Halo,
yeah,
more than
there
one
is.
Assassin's
I can answer
Creed?
that for him.
Is this list just Halo and Assassin's Creed and Gears?
It's actually only Ubisoft.
Or is it actually? Okay, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm wondering if there's any Halos on this list.
I bet
this
there
this
is.
good, this is
What's
good,
that
this is
big
variety.
collection? Because technically,
The
does that
Master
count?
Chief.
Yeah,
Chief.
technically, would that count?
We'll see. We'll see if he counts it.
I'm not gonna divulge any spoilers. So my first pick here is obviously EA Star Wars Battlefront 2. This is a game.
I like how you
Wow.
said EA.
I have to specify. 'Cause
He's
there's two
such a
Battlefront 2s,
fanboy.
right?
Yeah,
Um,
fair enough.
It's in the game.
But
Or
only
you
one
could do
this
the
decade.
date. You could do the date, right? Battlefront 2,
We know what game you're talking
2017.
about.
Yeah.
Battlefront 2.
So that game, just for me, it was such a great Star Wars game, and it had a rocky start, but I stuck through it, and it's been such a rewarding
loyal.
experience because they've brought so much extra content to the game. They listen to the community. They've just developed it so much further and revamped so many things that it's nice to see that they haven't just left the game and gave up on it. They are continually adding expansion packs and new characters and heroes 2 years after its release, which is just amazing to have that kind of support and dedication to the game. So Battlefront 2 is definitely up there for me. Then I have Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Now this
It's a great game.
Oh yeah, this
I'll
was
shout
one
that
of my
out.
first Xbox One games that debuted with the console, and
It was a remaster, right? It originally came out on the older gen.
well, it came out on both.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
one
really?
that cross
That game
platform.
came out this
okay.
decade?
Yeah.
That's fucking wild.
I know. So Black
That is
Flag
wild.
for me was just mind blowing because in Assassin's Creed 3 I loved what they did with the boat mechanics and
Yeah.
just kind of like whose boat was it? Just sailing around and everything. It was just fantastic. But it wasn't expanded upon in that game. But they took the open world aspect of traveling throughout the land in Assassin's Creed 3 into Black Flag and added it with pirate ships and boarding and upgrading your ship and ramming all these pirate battles. It was just a fantastic experience. It's just easily one of my top favorite games of all time.
And it gave us Skull and Bones coming out this
Gave us
year.
Skull and Bones.
Sea
Um,
Thieves.
And then I have Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Now that's one that I never chived with Call of Duty Ghosts. One of my most hated games of all time, probably.
Most
Holy
hated.
shit.
It was such a shitty Call of Duty.
I loved
And Advanced Warfare came out, and this game just totally, it blew my mind. It brought the zombies back in, and it was just such a fluid motion, and it felt like,
Fluid motion.
yeah, the exosuits that they threw onto your players in this game were just, I love them. It was just, the gameplay was so smooth, and the campaign was just absolutely fantastic. Yeah, and then Gears of War 3. That's another one I have in here. And, ladies and gentlemen who watch Gauntlet stuff, you can see I obviously got fucking decimated.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, I used to be actually good at that game. But
Check
it's
out
amazing.
our bloopers episode. Taylor's whole rant of Gears of War 5 is in there. So
Oh, yeah. It's amazing how a few years can really knock you down a few pegs of your skill level. But when Gears of War 3 came out, I remember skipping.
Not for Briggs, though. His skill did not get pegged down over the
No, I
years.
think he plays it consistently still.
Oh,
Probably.
okay.
I would not be.
That's what he's doing right
surprised.
now?
Yeah, he's doing
he's
right
getting
now.
ready for that rematch.
Yeah.
But I know with Gears of War 3, I remember skipping. I think it was 4 days of school straight, and I know.
2011.
I stayed at home and I was just playing the Gears of War. This was the beta, by the way. This wasn't the actual game.
Wow.
Like this game came out when I was graduating, so that's why I thought there's no way this game came out then, but it did.
Oh, yeah.
2011.
So I skipped school to play this beta, and I
Wow.
was playing it. And it was so worth every moment. I was just rocking that sawed-off shotgun, just deking and duking, and it was so
Deaking
good.
and
Deacon
Deacon
and
and
Duke.
duking.
Dip, dip, dip,
He's gonna
dive,
name
and
his son
dunk.
that.
Almost dangling, Duke and dangle,
Yeah,
but
a little bit. Sorry, you still talking about Gears? Or you talking
yeah,
about FIFA? Okay.
Gears. it was such a great game, and I remember playing it. I skipped school today to go and get it at Best Buy,
Sick.
and I was there. Right, there was one guy in front of me in line, and
your
he was
teacher?
there. And what's that?
Was it your teacher?
No, I have pictures though. We got shirts and toques with me and my two friends.
I
We
would have
went
been
in
working
there.
at Best Buy at that time.
What's
I
that?
would have been working at Best Buy at that time. And are you
Not
sure
the
you-
one I went to.
Oh,
This
okay.
is on Vancouver
Oh, I
Island.
was gonna say because that math doesn't line up.
But it's funny because we went in and the guy in front of us was like, "Oh, do you guys have the shirts and toques you were advertising in your flyer for this game?" And they couldn't find them, and he left. And then as soon as I got up, he's like, "Yeah, we got the shirts and toques." And I was like, "Oh, sucks to be that guy, but
Yikes.
I got a shirt and a toque, so representing."
Represent.
So my next pick is
Top 6.
Halo 4.
He's just at 6 now.
Halo 4, I remember this was just such hype. My friends and I, we were all lined up outside EB Games. It was just such a good time, and yeah, the people brought like an old like TV, and they had like a plug-in going all the way across the parking lot, and they were playing Halo 3 on their Xbox.
That's
And it was so exciting waiting till midnight just to get their hands on this, and then playing until 4 a.m. with your friends. It was just such a great experience to think, wow, we got more Halo games.
That's how we talk to.
That's all Xbox players.
It's starting off the new decade with another one too. That's pretty cool.
And then I got NHL 11. Now this one specifically,
wow. That's
NHL 11. Oh yeah, specifically NHL 11. This is when I first started jumping into sports games, and my friends, we all got right into NHL 11 at that time because that was the newest one. And I remember, I think I went to Rogers when they were like an actual a store with like video game rentals and games and stuff. Like it was great. And I went in there and I found a used copy of NHL 11 and I bought it. And I still have it to this day. But it just, me and my friends would make clubs, and we would just, I remember doing like the tournaments that they would have, and just so many funny moments of like the enemy team getting like power plays, and then you're supposed to wait till you touch the puck, and then your goalie like if you don't touch the puck, your goalie can like leave the bench or whatever. Like it's just, you can get that extra man on the ice if you have a power play. And for some stupid reason, our player was a goalie, and he thought he was supposed to leave the net, and he left it completely open. Just so many good memories that I have. And that's definitely one of my top favorites. I also have GTA 5.
Nice.
That one is just, I wasn't going to buy it at the midnight launch, but I went there with my friends, and then just all the hype of everyone is like, well, I'm going to buy it now. So I also had a UFO experience with like 30 other people in line that night. It was absolutely insane.
That's crazy.
Just the hype around that game was just legendary. And I remember, I wish I had bought it for Xbox One at the time so I could transfer my character over, because my character is like 206, I think.
Holy shit!
Online on Xbox 360.
That's
yeah.
crazy. I got to like 50 or 60 or something. That's
no.
wild.
I grinded it. I think my in-game time is like 9 or 10 days. Like
Jesus.
I know. I used to spend, when that came out, I got addicted to the online, and I spent about multiple nights playing till like 5 a.m.
Spent about multiple nights.
Just at the virtual strippers too.
My friends
8
would
of those
my friends would basically sign off, and then like, I'm going to bed. Have a good night, Taylor. I'm
And
like,
you'd go to
sure.
the Rippers?
And then they come back at like 5 or 6 in the morning. They get up and hop online. They're like, oh wow, you're up early. I'm like, I never went to bed.
Fucking casuals, go to sleep.
Fucking casuals. I'd be grinding money. I would be grinding missions.
Grinding the strippers.
Oh,
yeah.
the strippers. When I say I had all the top fucking like planes, vehicles, I bought that top shit back in the day when that
Dude,
was
that's
like
crazy.
prime. I had like the awesome condos with like 10 spaces in your garage. Like, I loved it. I would just go online and just whip up my machine gun, like the Gatling gun, and just fucking
Dude,
deck
GTA
people.
Online was fucking wild and
Amazing.
awesome time.
So good, so good.
I love that game.
So I got so many good memories with that.
Still bumping out DLC to this
Till
day, which is
very
insane.
minute, yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna shout out Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. This was one of my favorite Assassin's Creeds, probably of all time. I remember when Assassin's Creed 2 came out, it was just legendary. But then to get Brotherhood and continuing, Ezio's story and recruiting assassins into the Creed, and it was just such a legendary game with everything that you could do in it, and it was just so fantastic. So many happy moments and everything. And it also introduced multiplayer for the first time, which I remember maxing out on that and just playing with my friends. It was just such a great experience, and I really miss those times. Another game I got is Black Ops 1. This one specifically, the zombies is just legendary in this.
Legendary,
yeah, and just the multiplayer matches with friends and everything are just so memorable. Such a great experience overall. I also got Skyrim.
This is his final one.
Well, is this my final one?
I've written down 10 games of yours. This is your 10th game. But yours aren't really ordered.
No, they're not. Well,
So you
I'll have a
just drop
couple.
it in the honorable
I'll have
mention.
honorable mentions. Yeah. Then this one definitely Skyrim. I remember going to my cousin's place, and I was there for like a week, and he went out and got Skyrim when it released. And he didn't hang out with us anymore. He was just playing Skyrim, and he got in trouble because all he was doing was Skyrim all day.
Hilarious.
And it motivated me. When I got back, I ended up buying Skyrim, and I bought it for PlayStation 3 because I always found PlayStation controllers, I don't like them in the sense that they're not smooth enough for quick response times, but I like
Right.
how organized they are.
A known fact, yeah.
Known fact. I like how organized they are and that I can properly place things. And Skyrim is a game that I felt like, okay, I need to actually have things organized. I need to know exactly what I'm doing because there's so many things to select in the menus and such, and definitely with attacks. So I felt like, okay, this is definitely a game I want to play on PlayStation. And it sucked because PlayStation really got copped out for their DLC. The DLC had problems with both packs, and I had
Classic Bethesda.
the Dragonborn and the Vampire one. I had to wait an extended period of time. And then there was a time when they were giving it to players for 50% off because obviously the setbacks and the waits or whatever. And I realized, I could have got that, but I didn't get notified, so I missed that opportunity. And it was just, I got gypped so many times.
Gypped.
Fucking PlayStation.
That was the first midnight release I ever did. That's for
Skyrim.
Oh yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
11/11/11. Iconic day.
I remember
Very iconic.
sitting on Steam waiting for it to say, like, for the play to
Oh yeah.
be clickable. Me
Yeah.
and my friend Cody were just sitting there waiting for that moment. It was.
I remember
pretty
the next
legendary.
day it was like no school too, so I was just so hyped. It was on like a
Mm.
Tuesday, but for some reason,
Yeah.
I think it was because of Remembrance Day.
That was one of the most hyped like game releases of my
Yeah.
life, even though it wasn't at a store.
Yeah.
But it was still just like, oh man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Morrowind and
I remember
Oblivion
the
are some
first
my
guy
favorite
came
games
out
all
of
time,
EV
so
Games and everyone just like cheered him on because he had like the collector's edition. It was just a cool hype moment.
It's like doing the chants, like
Yeah.
A couple other shoutouts I have are Pokken. That game is just it blows my mind how addicting that
Blows
game
your
was. It was just fantastic. And I was watching the bloopers the other day of when you guys were like throwing me down, saying they're not going to remake Pokken on the Switch. That's not going to happen. And talking about how I have like people in my basement and stuff like that.
Aye,
Just
aye,
really
aye.
funny bloopers moment. And now I can smile through my teeth that we got Pokken up XD or whatever.
XD.
Then I got the Division on there. I got lots of good memories with my friends playing the Division. Just fantastic experience. And Assassin's Creed Syndicate is another one that I really, really enjoy. I love how you can swap between Jacob and Evie Fry. That's really good. And another one I have is Battlefield 3. That was a very fun game. The memories surrounding that and being there for the midnight launch. I remember meeting a few people, and there were these cops that came up, and they were going to Starbucks, and they're like, "What are you guys waiting in line for?" And they're like, "Oh, midnight launch for Battlefield." And he's like, "So what do I got to do to get the game?" And he reaches for his gun.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was great. And then, oh Jesus. The Starbucks people next door, they came out and brought us all hot chocolates and stuff. So it was just lots of good
This
times.
doesn't sound like a
experience.
real thing that happened.
It is. I have two people that can vouch for it.
I sometimes think if everyone's seen Fight Club, I sometimes think that's like a whole nother person in his personality that doesn't even exist. All these events happen. I think you're missing one big game on there. I'm surprised you didn't have.
What's that?
Star Wars Galaxy Heroes.
Yeah.
Or Pokemon Go too. You play those games like.
I didn't know we were including mobile games. I do.
It's a video game.
I do play Galaxy Heroes literally every day for the last 2 years.
Greatest love-hate story. You can
Oh,
find
yeah.
So many bloopers, so many him trashing things.
Fuck
Worst
Galaxy
Star Wars
Heroes.
game ever. So now he plays it every day and sends us screenshots.
Which I appreciate
zoom in on
Dylan's
those
zoom in.
screenshots,
So good.
Nice. That's your list there, Mr.
That's
Phil?
the list.
All right, so I have a few honorable mentions because, as I mentioned, I picked like my favorite game of each year. So obviously, there's some big cuts. Like 2012 was a tricky year. 2017 is like one of the most stacked years of like video games ever. So I definitely have some cuts in there. So a few honorable mentions. I mean, this game did not come out this decade. In fact, it came out 2001. But I rediscovered Melee and like the competitive scene of that game in like 2013. And it's just like it's my favorite competitive game by far. It's like just got such an insane amount of depth. So big shouts to Melee. Into the Breach came out last year. It's possibly the best strategy game of the decade. Mario Kart 8 is to me the best Mario Kart game, which I think some of these like Nintendo games, it's hard to reach like the heights. Like still my favorite Mario Party is like number 2 on like the N64. But I think that Mario Kart 8 is like the newest one and it's like the best is pretty cool. Counter-Strike Global Offensive is my favorite esport. It's just such a fantastic game with like a great community around it. Horizon Dawn, love that game, but 2017 is just a brutal year, so it didn't make it. Dark Souls 3, I love that game a whole lot. It's like the only one of the Souls games that I've really been able to fall in love with. The other ones I've always had problems with or just couldn't stick to it, but that one I was able to stick to. And I'm shouting out Death Stranding. It's a fantastic game that I love very much, but there's another game this year that I wanted to shout out even more than that one. So those are my honorable mentions. Also, bear with me. My throat is just dying with the sickness as I go through this. Number 10 is going to be right in the middle of the decade. 2015's game, Undertale. Undertale is... I feel like it's just like such a important game because the whole thing, the programming, the coding, the writing, the music is all made by one guy, and I feel like it's a very inspiring game that you can make like the dream game and then have like just this enormous success. Like Toby Fox, the creator, is like writing songs in like Smash and like the newest Pokemon game now. He's just like blown up superstar status off just this one game and he was like a music composer before and then he's like, I'm just gonna make a game.
Cool.
It has one of my favorite soundtracks of all time, not just games but like all soundtracks. Fantastic soundtrack. But it's a very creative RPG, a simple RPG, but just really good writing, really like sincere, very like melancholy sort of game. Very important. Next is gonna be number 9 is my 2019 game. Yeah, not Death Stranding, but I'm going to Outer Wilds, the game that I've pretty much like if anyone I've talked to about games this year, this is like the one game I'd recommend people play. It is one of the most creative games I've played in my entire life, let alone this decade. It's like an open world space exploration puzzle game, just this weird thing I've never seen anything like it. It's incredibly creative, and I sincerely hope everyone plays it.
It's co-op too, right?
It's not co-op,
Oh,
no,
it's not? Oh,
but
okay.
it's like a lower tier game. It's like $30 or $40. It's like probably maybe 15 hours or less. I mean, depending on how quickly you figure things out. But it's shorter. It's less expensive. So everyone, please go play this game. It is deserving of all the praise that it gets. Number 8 is going to be The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. I feel like I spend more time shitting on Skyrim than I do praising it.
I think you do.
Because Morrowind is my favorite single-player game of all time, still to this very day. Oblivion is also one of my very favorite games. So I didn't like a lot of the direction they took Skyrim, but at the end of the day, it is still a fantastic open-world game. Offers like so much content, multiple different storylines. Just that ultimate like fantasy game for me. And you know, I played Morrowind as a kid, and I feel like it's always changed how I look at open world games because nothing's ever been as detailed as that. The only thing that gets there is other Bethesda games, so Skyrim is still great. Number 7, Binding of Isaac Rebirth from 2014. This is one of my favorite games. Like, this is one of my probably most played games this decade, just sheer amount of hours. I mean, it's like the runs are like randomly generated or procedurally generated, so you get just an infinitive amount of variety. The first Bind of Isaac is great, but this one just like has that awesome pixel art graphics, has just more items, more everything, and yeah, it's just fantastic. It also has co-op as well, which is fun. So shout outs to co-op for Mr. Kirklin Patzer there.
Yeah.
Also, like it's like $10-15. It's like the most value game ever, except for maybe my number 1.
It's funny. I feel like everyone that I know that has played that game has put in no less than like 1,000 hours into it.
Yeah, it's just that kind of game. It's just like addictive to do different runs and unlock the new characters and try them out. And there's all these challenges in there. It's just there's different challenge runs. Like I don't know, everything. It's great. There's so much content in there. Number 6 is GTA 5. I love GTA 5, and I don't know. It's probably one of my most played. Like Taylor was saying, playing online, I wasn't nearly into it as you were apparently, but I still love like the first couple months of online was just so great. GTA 5 is like one of my favorite racing games ever. I just love the mechanics of driving in that game. It's so much fun. The story is really solid. It's like definitely more like whimsical and like colorful and kind of goofy than GTA, the seriousness of GTA 4, but I still really enjoy it. It's a game that I can always just go on and play, and I mean the load times are kind of savage, but once you get in there, it's just so much fun to just drive around and do whatever, even if it's just driving, if it's trying to get 5 stars and see how long you can survive. It's just a game that has an endless amount of content, and they just keep adding more to it as well. So
it's crazy.
One of the biggest games ever in terms of sales and like just. I think yeah, it's true because Minecraft is like best selling in terms of like copies, I think, but since GTA 5 is like more expensive, I think it maybe has made more money or something. So. And maybe like through the shark cards, I don't know if they count that in that, but people buying that. Were you a shark card guy, Taylor?
No, I earned all my money in game.
Legend.
This
like
guy.
50,
Legendary.
60 mil. Cash stack.
Next is my 2017 game for my top 5. So 2017 is a savage year. I mean, as I said, I had to cut Horizon Dawn.
Yeah.
Hollow Knight also came out in 2017. And what was the other one? Yeah, Breath of the Wild. I actually just started playing Breath of the Wild. I got it on Black Friday, so I've just been playing it. I've like maybe 10, 15 hours into it. It's a fantastic game, and honestly, I think over time is probably going to take this slot if my favorite 2017 game. But as of right now, it's going to Prey.
Wow.
Arcane Studios just makes fantastic games with so much attention to detail all over the place that just offers tons of replayability, so much creativity in the level design, like the best level design of anyone out there right now. And Prey is a fantastic game that I love very much. And even the DLCs they added to it are really cool as well. They added like essentially like a roguelike version to it where you do like certain runs and try to go for objectives and whatnot. So yeah, definitely a fantastic game that I think more people should play. I think a lot of Arcane Studio stuff kind of gets brushed under the rug, but it's pretty awesome games. I need
Take
a
a
breath.
breath.
You're doing
Take a
great.
breath.
You're doing great.
Take a
though.
sip of water.
Yeah, take a quick sip of water, huh?
Do, 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 do.
Thanks for the music track.
Yeah.
Check out Geek First. Number 4 is Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Yeah, I love Smash Ultimate. I think it's a great game. I think the main thing for me is like I'm a diehard Smash Bros fan, right? So to have everyone back and have like kind of the best of Sages. There's a couple missing, but for the most part, they got like all the big ones. It's just fantastic. It plays just like faster and better than Smash 4. It plays better than Brawl. There is some things that bring it down, like the single player. It's fine. I like it, but it's no like subspace. And then the online is just total garbage, unfortunately. But as a game, it's like, there's like over 80 characters in there
Yeah.
now. It's an insane roster that's like the best video game roster of any game ever, right? It just has like the best ofs from Nintendo, but also now just all these other third-party characters in there as well. I love this game so very much. I've even attended some tournaments for it this year. It's not competitively, I don't like it as much as Melee, but it still is actually interests me, whereas Smash 4, I never really cared much for the competitive side of it. It just didn't do it for me. This game, I was actually surprised came out this decade. It feels like it came out before, but it came out in 2010, is Heroes of Newerth. So this is my MOBA. Everyone got into their League of Legends, their Dota 2s. And I feel like to me, that's the biggest like what if story. Like what if Han had become the big MOBA that like is still relevant to this day, still gets updates, still gets dev support, still has like tons and tons of fans playing it. That's the biggest what if, because I love that game so much mechanically. It is one of my favorite games ever. It's probably my favorite like team, like a multiplayer team based game. And because of how good it is, I've just never been able to get into League or Dota 2 because they just never felt as good. They weren't as responsive as Han was for me. So it's sad because that game in like 2019 today is not really playable like it was back then, and it never will be, which is sad. And I mean, someday the servers are going to get cut because it just doesn't have the fan base anymore. But it is forever one of my favorite games, and I cherish it very much. Number 2, 2016's Dishonored 2.
I knew it was gonna be on there.
Yeah. So the reason Dishonored 1 isn't on my list, spoiler, is because
Dishonored 2.
the game that's first on my list came out in the same year, so it kicked it
okay.
out. But to me, like, I feel like Dishonored 1 and 2 are very... Like, if I look at my list of all-time favorite games, Dishonored 1 and 2 are right beside each other. That's how close they are in quality, because the first one, I think, has a better, more cohesive story, and then also the DLC straight up has you playing as the villain of the main story, so it
Yeah.
just makes, like, this really cohesive story altogether. It's, like, genius. But Dishonored 2 just takes all those mechanics, makes it better, puts you in a new environment with, like, different strategy elements, but still has, like, that level of care of detail, gets you, like, you can play as 2 separate characters this time. But once again, is what I was saying about Prey, is just like the level design is just stellar. Like this game has, I can't remember what level it is, but it's called The Crack in the Slab. It's like chapter 4 or 5 or something, which I think is, to me, my favorite video game level ever. It is just such the genius that is the creation of that level and how it's put together and how it plays out and how multiple playthroughs like change. Like, holy shit, I did not know you could do that, is mind-boggling. And that's like my personal favorite, but other people would say there's levels even better than that in that game. So
That's
it's
awesome.
just an amazing game that I don't know, more than anything, I want people to play these Arcane games because they're making just a special type of product, and
We
definitely
getting
worthy of
that
praise.
Dishonored review? Dishonored 2 review?
Maybe if I play through it.
Yeah, I don't
I'll
know.
join you.
Probably as soon as we get your Call of Duty review for the newest one. How's that sound? Oh, shots.
That was repost.
Sign me up.
That's my number 2. On to my number 1. This one's not a surprise. I'm wearing the T-shirt right now. I talk about this game all the time. But 2012's game that kicked out Dishonored, kicked out Counter-Strike Global Offensive, is Spelunky. Spelunky is one of my favorite games of all time, easily my top 5 of all time, and without a doubt my number 1 pick for this decade. It's what's to say about it? I think it's incredibly innovative and like changed where indie development as a whole has gone. Like the roguelike genre is like the biggest genre now in like indie games. It's like, you know, your Dead Cells, your Bad North, Into the Breach, as I mentioned earlier. Binding of Isaac followed because of this. So like Spelunky really showed, like, took this formula of like old school like 80s game, but then like made it into a platformer, and that made it more accessible, and like just changed how like indie developers can look at games and say like, okay, we have a smaller team of people. How can we like make just as much content as those games? And like Spelunky. I've put as much hours into Spelunky as I have like a Skyrim or something or GTA 5, just because of the replayability of it and how the levels are procedurally like randomly generated, yet they're still like it's some of the best level design of any of games that I've ever played. So that's just I don't know, that's a pretty wild thing to say, right? The fact that the levels are randomly made, but they're still amazing, and they're like endlessly amazing. I love the look of Spelunky. It just captured me immediately when I saw it. It's so cute and colorful, and I just love it. The soundtrack is great, but it's just like those tight mechanics. It just plays so well. Like the control of it is so precise that you can really just do everything with it. And yeah, I mean, my favorite game of the decade easily, and I can't wait for Spelunky 2, which is coming out hopefully next year.
Nice. What console or PC?
It's actually coming to PS4 first.
Oh, wow.
Well, at least that's what it was said before. Yeah, exclusive to PS4 first for the first few months. That was the same with Spelunky HD. It came out for 360 on the arcade first before anything else, and then it came to stuff afterwards. So I'm sure it'll come to other platforms later. But Stadia, yeah, I can't wait for it to. Honestly, I'd love that I mean, I don't have Stadia, but just like a mobile version. I really want them to put Spelunky 1 on Switch. That would be great. But yeah, that's my top 10 list.
Great list.
Thank you.
So if we're doing the top 10,
Yeah.
the only 4 games that I had written down that were the most mentioned, kind of 5, but I had GTA 5, Smash Ultimate, The Witcher, and Skyrim. Those are the ones that seem to pop up the most as far as people on lists and honorable mentions. I'm not sure. I think he kind of gave it
What's that?
honorable mention, Death Stranding, but me and Kirklin had that number 1.
Yeah.
But those were the 4 or 5 that I heard.
Okay, I'll write those down.
Mentioned the most throughout everybody's list there. So I'd say that like if we were going from a preference point of view, GTA would probably be 1 because you guys had it. I had honorable mentions and you guys had all quite high. So
What was the fourth one there?
Skyrim. Sorry, I didn't see that. Smash Ultimate. And then, like I said, Stranding for a sense of. I think you had it as an honorable mention.
Yep.
And then me and Kirklin had number 1, so
Mhm.
that's pretty big. And then I think the next 5 were all like hodgepodge of like.
Yeah. So I agree with all these. And I think all of these, except for Death Stranding, could be locks. I don't know what it is with Death Stranding. Maybe it's because it's so new. Maybe it's because
Kind of niche.
it's like
not for everyone.
yeah,
I think.
it is very niche. But I think these other 4 to me are. You could make a case against the Smash Ultimate possibly, but I think at least these top 3 are definitely locks for me. The order, I don't know, but I think they're all in there for sure. GTA 5, Skyrim, and Witcher 3. I don't like Witcher 3 personally. Couldn't get into it, but I still think it's an incredibly important game and it is worthy of being on the list.
Okay.
What do you two think of that?
I
Those
like
5.
all of them on there, honestly. Like Smash Ultimate, I feel like it's a good like I don't know family game almost.
Yeah.
Like anyone can kind of pick.
It's kind
it
of
up
like the
and-
culmination of all the Smash games.
Yeah, exactly. Death Stranding, I fucking love that game.
Mhm.
I see it as like a movie, honestly,
Yeah.
more than a game.
Yeah, at times.
yeah, but I don't know. I do see your point that it does seem niche. Like I wouldn't recommend it to everyone. Like some people that are really into platforming games,
Yeah.
like, they would not be able to get into that.
It's a
too
tricky one
slow.
because of how new it is, right? It came out
Right.
2 months ago. It's like, how do
Exactly.
you put that in a time capsule
Yeah.
with Skyrim? It came out like 2011, right? Like, it's hard to say how it's going to be. Like, are people going to be
Yeah.
talking about Death Stranding in like a year, 2 years? I mean,
I feel like
I think they
yes.
will because it's coming to PC and a lot of people are going to play it
Yeah.
again. But I don't know. That one's tricky for me. I'm not ready to lock it yet, but these
Okay.
other 4 I could be
Yeah.
okay locking.
I just see, like out of everyone on this list, I feel like this is like a masterpiece. Honestly, like the
Ooh.
score wise, like the acting in it, like
Yeah.
the gameplay mechanics, like it's just so smooth. There's been a couple like weird bug things that happened to me, but it's nothing game. Like it's just
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm in a world. I don't know. That's like breathing.
And apparently
living,
they had
and,
a
like,
patch that fixed
so
like
original.
the size of the text already.
Oh, okay.
Have you
That's
noticed
cool.
that?
I have noticed that.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, I haven't noticed like a change in it, but I.
Okay.
I thought
Maybe
it was a little
it's something in the options you have to change it, but
Okay,
I noticed
yeah.
people were complaining about that. They patched it in already, so that's
Okay. Do you know when
that's
that
good.
happened?
I mean, since I've not had the game, since you've
Okay.
been borrowing
So
it,
it's probably I probably haven't noticed it then.
yeah, I want to say around Game Awards time, like a couple weeks
Okay.
ago or something. So, what do you think about those 5?
I'm definitely on board GTA 5, Skyrim, and Smash. I don't have anything. I don't know. I'm neutral with Witcher and Death Stranding, I guess, because I don't have any say with them. I have
Yeah.
no experience with either of those.
Uh-huh.
Play The Witcher once. I'm surprised.
No, it's never
Um,
up there for me.
Just I don't know. Throw some more on there. What does
Mhm.
anyone feel about like Last of Us?
Yeah, it's in the talks. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Just for the story that made everybody that technically won PS3 the generation. If you look at sales and the console, so it
Yep.
came in there, and so it's a big games
Yeah.
impact game. So
The other one I was gonna mention was I was kind of surprised it wasn't even on your top list. God of War. I haven't played through it, so I didn't want to. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It just I had a gun to my head of like if I could only play one between that and Smash Ultimate, I picked Smash.
Yeah.
But God of War,
Yeah.
I think might be the best made game of this generation.
Yeah.
Like, one of the
Yeah,
best.
I think one thing going for God of War as well is that's like, I mean, it is a technically a continuation of the games. Like the other stuff is still canon, but it's a great like re-innovation of taking the
Yeah.
game in a different direction instead of like the very kind of arcadey Devil May Cry style combat. It's more focused, more in line with like your Horizon Dawns, your
Yeah.
other like bigger games
Yeah.
of this generation. I think it like the fact that it blew people away, and I think became not. I mean, it was. I guess it wasn't really a niche game before God of War, but I think for me personally, I've never cared to play the originals because they just don't. They're not the kind of gameplay I'm
Yeah.
into. Whereas this one, I think, is kind of has something for everyone. Whether it's like the really cohesive story or like simpler but still like in-depth combat.
It's
Yeah.
really interesting how they're able to like change like the focus of the games too, because like the original 3 I felt like it was just a hack and slash, whereas now it's not a hack and slash, it's more the story driven, whereas
Uh-huh.
back in the day I wasn't too like invested in the story. It was just like, oh, it's a fun game to play, and like I was probably younger, so it was just more appealing to me. But
Yeah.
like now, like the story driven stuff,
Right.
it's just it's cool how they're able to do that.
So you
and
haven't played
successfully.
God of War yet, have you?
I have.
Oh, you have?
I'm just not done it,
Oh, okay.
so I didn't want to put it on the list.
Okay.
I don't know. I just heard.
It's in the conversation for sure.
I just heard like a huge amount of praise for it
Mm.
from anyone that I know that has played it.
Go ahead, Tim.
Question for you guys. I'm surprised you guys didn't honorable mention Ultimate Alliance 3 at all. I didn't
Yeah.
know, but I mean, I didn't. It's not. I feel like, did you guys forget or? 'cause
No, I
you
didn't.
guys love it.
I didn't forget, and it's in, like for this year, it's in my top 5. I think the thing for Ultimate Alliance, for me is like I love it, but I feel like it's almost like a guilty pleasure. Like when I look at it on paper, like the level design is kind of garbage. The story is not good because it's
That
too
camera,
it's too
man.
mucky. The camera is awful. There's all sorts of weird little issues in the game, like the ISO management, or like as we're talking about the menus. So I just think like on paper, it's not like the quality of the game isn't there. It's like to me, Ultimate Alliance 3 is quantity over quality, which I'm whatever. I'm loving it. I love the game. But it is very much that guilty pleasure, and I think that's why for me it's not. I don't know. Like we could put it on the board if you want. You think it's in the
Well,
conversation?
it's not that I was just curious because, like, for those reasons, that's why I didn't really throw it into my.
Yeah, like it's one of my
list,
most
but
played games this year.
I assume like because you praised it, I thought that it would have been in your honorable mentions. I just remembered it now. Like, oh, you didn't say it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, even when I look at this year alone, like Death Stranding is a way better game.
Yeah.
Outer Wilds is like way better game, whereas Ultimate Alliance 3 is like a formula we've seen before, but just like revamped and like MCUified, and I love it. But I just don't think like by the numbers, the quality of it is
Fair enough.
is quite there. And you know, maybe if it came out 2 or 3 years ago and we had some time to stew and we were still playing it, but you know, it is still a pretty fresh game, so it's hard to look at it like as the decade. Because Ultimate Alliance 2 definitely didn't come out this decade, right? Like that was probably 2007. Okay, so pretty close on 2009 or something.
2009, yeah.
But well, Minecraft's the tricky one because if you look on Google, it'll say Minecraft officially released in 2012, I believe. However, I've been playing the game personally for longer than that because I played it in the original alpha before the game like blew up. That's my hipster pick of the day. But like for me, if it was included in this decade, it would be high on my list. I mean, actually, I think if you did put it in 2012, Splunky still beats it. But anyway, it is one of the most important games, the best-selling game of all time. It's incredibly popular. It's like turned into a line of toys, and it's like
Yeah.
has spin-off games, and is
Like TV
one of the
shows and stuff.
one of the best games ever made, in my opinion. So,
List on Wikipedia for Windows is November 2011.
I think it's 2009.
You think so?
I think so.
Like maybe
We're-
check like the alpha release.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's like most prominent in this decade, and it blew up in this decade.
Mhm.
But I'm pretty sure I've been playing this game for longer than a decade,
Yeah.
personally. I remember playing it.
Because it does come up one as the initial release date, May 17th, 2009. So
Yeah.
it's a tough call.
It's so close. Like, where do you guys feel on that? Because I think if we are including it in this decade, it's easily on the list.
That's a tough one. That's like the Game Awards with the whole Smash.
I personally wouldn't include it in this decade.
Just for the sake of
The same way I wouldn't include League, even though League is
Yeah, I
most
know.
prominent in
Yeah.
this decade and it blew up in this decade. It
Mhm.
still didn't release in
If
this
you're
decade.
talking about, because God of War, I didn't have it on mine, but if you're talking about like big games that change things, I would put the original Red Dead as maybe not a lock, but
Yeah.
there because that was a huge thing that showed Rockstar could do something else. Yeah, they did Bully and they did LA Noir, still consider maybe their greatest game of all time. That story, John Marks.
Yeah. Do you think number 2 is in the conversation
No.
for like technical standpoint?
If this was just a purely technical thing, yes. But I number 2. Some people think it's great, but I just think it's lacking the story. And I think all the stuff in GTA or sorry in Red Dead is good, but it can be similar to GTA as far as the play style.
Yeah.
The horses.
And you like the online too, right?
The new one?
Yeah.
The new one's fantastic. The
Yep.
online. Yeah.
Nice.
I enjoy it actually more than GTA. But that's also because GTA I kind of gave up on a long time ago. So
Right.
I'm sure if I got jumped into it. But the Red Dead, I just think.
Yeah, it's on the list. I think it's in the conversation.
And
Here's
as far as,
go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, I was gonna say as far as the other superhero games is Spider-Man or Batman because you didn't have Spidey at all. He had Spidey.
I mean I honorable or I guess I didn't honorable mention it.
I didn't honorable mention it, but if you were to throw up, like I only played Asylum and City, and both of them, like I loved. I didn't put them. Well, it wasn't one that I was thinking to throw on there. Like I mean,
you mentioned
I don't
City.
know.
That was on your list. Yeah.
City's number 2 for me. Yeah,
That was one I had.
Because if we're talking about big genres, that was a huge game, massive seller, and it was like the.
Yeah, so break it down for me as someone who hasn't played them. There's I guess technically 4 in the series that came out this decade. Which ones is there multiple? Is there just one that would be in the conversation?
Well, Arkham Asylum, I haven't played it, but it's pretty. Yeah. Oh, okay. So it doesn't even qualify. Arkham City kind of opened it up, and I just feel like it kind of changed things in a positive. What
In a
what one
positive
came
way.
after that? Arkham.
Knight, but the thing that brings that down is everyone, including myself, was not a big fan of the Batmobile.
Right.
Yeah.
Those mechanics, and Origins was just a lesser. It was a different developer, so it's kind of like the Assassin's Creed, where it was the knockoff. Where I feel like, yeah, it's still fine, but it's nothing like the other one. I think like Kirklin said, you had the big story, but then it went open world. I'm not saying it's a deadlock in there, but it's one worth mentioning. But yeah, it's definitely City. I don't think it. Well, Asylum would be out there, but the other two aren't even worth talking about being in top 10 of the decade.
Okay.
Top 50.
And then Asylum wouldn't count, right? Because it came to.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it's like 2008, 2009.
so
City, I think. is the
Arkham City?
consensus. Yeah.
and which one is that? That's number 2 or 3?
2.
D-
How do you spell Arkham?
ARK.
There's an H A M.
AM. Yeah. Arkham.
Arkham.
2009, August 27th was 2 days before my birthday, or 25th, 2 days before my birthday.
This one, to me, in my mind, is a complete lock in terms of its influence, in terms of people still saying it's the best in the series, so to speak. Dark Souls, the original Dark Souls.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Demon Souls is the one that kind of created those mechanics of like the bonfires and like the regenerating enemies and the limited healing. But I think Dark Souls is the one that blew it up into mainstream
Yeah.
status. And then how many games have followed that? Like obviously From has continued in that with Dark Souls 2, 3, Bloodborne, and Sekiro. But now
They have like
there's
Neo,
all sorts of other
Yeah,
games. Even Hollow Knight is looking at that. Yeah, Neo.
Ghosts of
Remnant.
Tsushima or
Ghost-
whatever that one.
Ghost
Or is
might-
it not like that?
I don't think it is. I
Oh,
think it
okay.
just looks like Sekiro is why we
Oh,
look at
okay.
it that way. I don't know mechanics wise if it is, but yeah, that is. I think even just beyond those mechanics, even just kind of reinvigorating people and like wanting difficulty in games, and
Yeah.
like I think some people go too far with it where they're like too elitist at times. But Dark Souls is a very important game. if you
No,
ask me.
totally. I had that on my like collaborative list just for like the impact that it had. I also thought it was the first in the series, so I thought it was like the one that like introduced the whole like campfire mechanic. But like you said, Dark Souls. But like you said, it
Yeah.
is the one that really blew it up. And
That's
then
the thing.
it,
Like a lot of people don't even
influenced all
know
these
Demon
other
Souls
games,
is a
right?
thing.
Yeah.
So.
No, totally.
Yeah, I think that's a lock one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just 'cause not even my genre, but just enough people talk about. I don't know if this is a lock, but just some of the games again people talk about. No one mentioned Rocket League at all.
Yeah, I have that on my
Yeah.
list of it's in the
As
conversation.
far as being one of the hottest games of all time, I think that's up there.
Yeah.
You know.
I probably should have mentioned that on my honorable mention for my personal list because I just love that game.
Me too. I've grown to love it after losing a few times.
It's a great
Just
game.
a few.
Here's a couple ones. So let's talk about like a couple of the Blizzard games. I don't think Diablo 3 is quite on that
No,
level
That one had too
people
much
look.
flack.
Yeah, I think people look back on like the other ones
Yeah.
as better. But what about a StarCraft 2 or a Hearthstone? What do you guys think of those two?
I really liked StarCraft 2, but I didn't get into it like in the
Uh-huh.
prime of it. I kind of got into it when it was kind of like on the decline,
Yeah.
like the pro scene was kind of dying. But I absolutely love that game. I thought the story wise was like phenomenal. I'm a big
Mhm.
fan of RTS games, so I don't know.
I
feel
just
like-
don't know if it toppled the first game, and I think that maybe is a
Okay.
point against it
Yeah.
in terms of
Okay.
its legacy.
I can't comment on that because I didn't play the first one, so
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't
It's
play
tough.
enough of them, and for me, I just don't hear about them enough. I don't
it
know
has
much
kind of
about
died
them.
off
it's
as
very
an
dead
esport.
now.
So
Yeah.
I feel like as far as even the impact, we're talking about like Marvel Alliance 3, like lasting impressions.
Yeah.
I think it was a hot thing, but it kind of went away. No,
Yeah, it's still got a scene, but it's not what it was when it first came out.
Was the original StarCraft like? Was that the one that had like the original esports sort of thing?
Yeah, it was one of the, I guess with one of the expansions, Brood War is kind of the one that people look at
okay.
as like, this is the quintessential StarCraft
Yeah.
like competitive era, and people still play that
Oh, okay.
to this very day, like, because
Yeah.
it's just such a good game. It's one of those things where you look, it's just like mechanically people like it the best.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't think that one. But how about Hearthstone? Because Hearthstone, I feel like invigorated a lot of like card games to follow. I don't know if Gwent followed it, but people were really into Gwent for a while. I mean, even Elder Scrolls Legends followed that with their card game. Obviously, there's always Magic, but I feel like Hearthstone is a pretty popular. It's like it is a very popular esport. It's a game that people really seem to love. I think it's really creative in a card game in terms of like, just like it has a really good game feel, like how you can just whip cards onto the field, the feeling of the as they impact, and like when you hit, like the cards kind of attack each other.
Yeah.
Just like create, you can click on things in the environment. I think it just did a lot of little details that make it like a really full experience and not just a card game.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like Hearthstone is a very important game of this decade.
I could agree with that. It created like a big subgenre and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I'll put it on.
I absolutely hate like those types of games because it's just so RNG, and especially like when I see like an esport on that, I just shake my head forever like at that stuff. But
Yeah.
it did influence like all these other like card games that have followed
Mhm.
it, like the Gwent one. I don't know if Magic the Gathering was that one first.
Well, Magic the Gathering, like the video game, I don't know when the video game version came out,
Yeah.
but obviously it's been around the block for
Yeah,
a
exactly.
long time. But I think it's interesting too because it was just announced like a few weeks ago, like Elder Scrolls Legend is ceasing development, and like Gwent, they stopped their development. They're cutting the game too. So it's like, yeah, like these games are like disappearing, or like maybe it's what you could look at it and be like, oh, the genre's not as popular, but like Hearthstone's still pumping.
Yeah,
There's
it's
still kind
still
of card
popping.
packs and DLCs and whatnot. And I
That is
think
a
it's
good
going to have a
point.
long life still.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if it's like a Hearthstone 2. I don't know if you make a second. I think you just keep iterating the first one possibly.
Right.
And yeah, so I think the fact that other ones are dying but Hearthstone's still thriving is just a sign that it's like it was a really good game as well.
Yeah.
Like I'm a big fan of Yu-Gi-Oh, obviously. Even as janky and terrible as that game is, I just love it for nostalgia. But Hearthstone is still like the satisfying game for me just because of all those features of like it has a good game feel for a card game. So
It's like a AAA card game.
it is a Blizzard AAA card
Yeah.
game for sure. And I guess in that realm, since we're talking about Blizzard, but what do you guys think about Overwatch?
I was gonna mention that one. That one's interesting because I feel like it was kind of short lived. Like just like the hype around it. Like when it came out, it was the only game that anyone was talking about.
Yeah.
Like it was so hyped. It was like I guess the only one before that was like Team Fortress of like that style of game. Or
Yeah.
is there other ones?
No, I think
Top of your head.
that's kind of the main one, and
Yeah.
Overwatch really took that and like I think had maybe not better, but like had really good character design. Like
Yeah.
the characters have a lot
Well,
of personality. It's like colorful and fun.
It's got that AAA Blizzard like stamp on it,
Yeah,
right? Where it's
yeah.
just it's so
Got
clean.
polish, yeah.
Everything, yeah. It's got that beautiful like characters to it and like the art style. I really loved.
and it's got a
but-
pretty thriving esports scene, all things
Is
considered.
it still thriving? I
Yeah.
wasn't too sure.
I was
Okay.
gonna say, yeah. I meet lots of people that still talk about it, and
Okay.
they have like their
It's still a
go-to
relevant
mains
game.
and everything like that. So
Maybe
it's
I'm
still
just
pretty
speaking
popular.
out of personally. Like I fell in love with that game, but like only for like a year or so. I
Yeah.
couldn't stick
I think
with
I was
it for
kind of in
too
the
long.
same boat.
Yeah.
I don't know. After a couple characters got added, I kind of stopped playing, but I
Yeah.
still think it's an important game when we look at the decade.
No, totally. I would add it on there.
Me and Kirklin still have to play it together.
Yeah, I do. I forgot I added you on it.
Yeah, that's
On
the
what,
only
on
reason you
PC?
added me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll
I'm on
jump
PC
in.
too. Let's do it, boys.
Let's do it.
GV Overwatch. You gonna hop in there, Travis?
Not at all.
I have more, but someone else can take a turn for a bit and shout out some stuff.
I was gonna mention Breath of the Wild. I know it's got some mixed feelings on the podcast, but like just the fact that like
I have some skin in the game now. I've played it for 15
yeah,
hours.
I played a little bit of it, not fully, but like just the amount of things that they changed on like a Legend of Zelda game, and I feel like majority of people were very positive on it.
Yeah.
Obviously, Travis can talk about the.
I've heard
negative
people
side.
say it's the best game of all time.
I have a buddy that's played probably over hundreds of hours in it, and he claims it's the best game he's ever played.
Yeah.
So
he's
your
not the only
friend's so
one.
wrong. Yeah. Oh, it's fine. You know, lots of people believe in Jesus, but it doesn't make them right. Yeah,
Whoa.
I
Made
have
them wrong.
Let's talk about Jesus.
honestly, I'd be fine with all these games on the list. The only thing I'm not fine with is that in the top 10. I just think it is a good game. I think it's a great game. I just think it's because people did it with Zelda. It's just like you've been eating pasta your whole life and they added cheese and you're like, whoa, we finally have cheese on pasta.
Yeah.
But it's like everyone else was doing it. You just happen to get it because Nintendo's slow. I don't think it's. There's so many great games, and I know I'm in the minority, but that happens with movies and TV
Yeah.
shows. That for me that's the only thing on this list. I wouldn't actually really care what the rest of the list was, but I
You don't want that.
don't want that on the
Yeah,
top 10.
so-
I mean, I can't be too passionate about it yet because I'm only so far in. But see, the thing is, I don't think it's just people raving because it's a new formula for Zelda. I think as an open world game, and I've played a shit ton of my life, that the traversal mechanics, like just getting around the world, climbing anything, and not in some janky way where you're climbing up a mountain with a Skyrim horse,
Just
and you're just like
spacing.
glitching up, but like how it's integrated into a mechanic with your stamina bar, and you're climbing up these mountains. And then I think, obviously, you have like the sail and whatnot, a lot of ways to cruise around, and you can get horses and whatnot. But I think the cool thing about it is this kind of ongoing physics system where like that climbing, yes, it's all fine and dandy, but then when it's raining, well, you'll just be like slipping off these rocks. Or when it's raining, like your electricity, your shock arrows like have, they're more poignant and whatnot. And I think it's really interesting how the environment changes based on what the weather is. Like I was just playing the other night and like there was a full on thunderstorm happening. It was like lighting trees on fire, knocking shit over. It hit me because I was holding like a spear, and because it's a metal spear, it attracts lightning, and it just fucking killed me. And I was like freaking out because it's terrifying. So to me, it's like that game is really important for open world games because of the traversal and because of the weather system and how it's not just for atmosphere like a Fallout, for example, but it's actually like plays into the gameplay and how you're going to use the equipment that you have. So I think it's a very special game. I think the cooking system as well. It's not revolutionary, but I think it's really fun and it's really well used in that game. So I think it's an incredibly important open world game. But once again, I'm only so far into it, so it's hard for me to make too strong of a case. But I think those things are. That's my case against it just being like new for Zelda. Like I think it's important for open world games because of those things in particular. That's just what I've noticed after 10 hours in the game. So that's me.
I wanted to ask Travis too, because I'm assuming you've beaten it.
No, I never did actually, because
okay.
I got about 35, 40 hours into it, and then I was just, that was the same time Horizon Dawn. I'm just like, this is the way. And I think Horizon Dawn's a better game that does, obviously not the weather mechanics. Same thing, the cooking is just it's very basic, and people give it a pass because it is Zelda, it's Nintendo, but there's no story there. You're talking to fucking fish people. Ganon's taking over the world again. There's nothing there. It's the same old kind of rehash as we've seen multiple times. But I just think, and I think the art style is great too, but I just think it's a lot of things recooked and added into the game. And Dylan did bring up some good points about those situations, but once those situations, I don't feel like we talk about the same way with Death Stranding. I don't feel it has that same level of depth or impact, and many people do, but for me, it did not gleam onto me like that. And fuck the horse mechanics as well.
I haven't been able to wrangle a horse yet, so I can't comment on the horse mechanics.
Fuck those horses.
It's
no Red Dead.
They kick you off for sure. Not as easy as I was expecting.
This might not be a collaborative question, but I thought you might have New Vegas on your honorable mention. Didn't you say
I
it
thought
was like
that
your
too,
favorite?
It
Fallout
was until I realized that Heroes of New Earth came out in 2010.
Oh,
I thought it came out earlier, but then I saw that and I was like, all right, New Vegas, see you
I
later.
see. That's fair.
It was my kind of pick until I had that realization. But Fallout, that's something I really think is kind of poetic almost, is like Obsidian with their open world RPGs, kind of that Bethesda style. Like they started off the decade and they closed it out with the Outer Worlds. So cool. I think that's kind of fun, and I'm really excited for Outer Worlds DLC. I think Fallout New Vegas is a great game. To me, it's the best Fallout game of the decade. Not that it has too much competition. Just Fallout 4 and 76 isn't competition. Let's be real. But it still is to me the best one. I really like it. I don't think it's top 10 quality.
Okay.
Yeah, that's me personally.
I just heard that you praised it in the past.
It's a great game.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic game. I think the thing that's also tricky with that one is I probably haven't played it since 2014 or 15, so it's been a few years. So I'm a little bit. I mean, I've played through it multiple times, so I wouldn't say I'm foggy on it, but it's not as fresh in my memory as some of these other things.
For sure.
Taylor, you haven't said much. You got any shout-outs?
I feel like my list, none of these things on here would be voted on there, so that's kind of my drawback.
Throw them to me.
I don't know. Maybe out of all of them, maybe Assassin's Creed Black Flag, because I feel like that was one that did you play that one, Travis? Because I think
no.
Did you buy it though?
No.
Didn't you go to his house and watch it?
I thought you owned it at one
point.
point.
I played
We
that.
talked about it at Target, I thought.
No.
I probably talked about it with you because I absolutely love that game. And the reason why I love that game so much is because it didn't feel like an Assassin's Creed game. It felt like just a pirate game, and I thought it was awesome.
That is the one that most people... I don't know, I guess it kind of changed with Odyssey. A lot of people like that one as well. But I feel like Black Flag until then was kind of the de facto best Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, it was just a sense where, you get to be a pirate. I don't think we really had like a big pirate game up until that point where you could just, upgrade your ships, sail the high seas. You could go hunting like whales and hunting all those kind of things and take down enemy ships or whatever. And
so this one, I guess, really has to go to Kirklin then. Where do you think it stands? Do you think it's on the quality of some of these other things? It's probably been a few years since you've played it, I imagine, but
Yeah. It's tough
is
because
it worthy on the board?
I don't think so, because I think if we put it on there, it'll just get cut at one point because this is going down to 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to write it on there. You can
No.
probably do it.
Don't do it.
You don't want to see it get cut?
No, that's why none of my on my list I know are board worthy. So
But do you have other picks? Because, like, Dark Souls, I don't like Dark Souls, personally. I like Dark Souls 3. I don't really like Dark Souls 1, but I still, like, acknowledge it as, like, an important game. Influential. Like, do you have any other...
I don't know. Like they're important to me, but I don't think they're important enough that they'll make it to the board.
I mean, like, just off... Like, do you have any other things that aren't on your list I'm talking about?
That aren't on my list.
Am I putting you on the spot too much here?
I don't know. Like I have one that's kind of like on the same board as like with like a World of Warcraft or League of Legends. Like it came out like past this decade, but it's like in its prime now. So again, it's not really one that would qualify.
Wait,
but
what are you talking
What's it
about?
called?
RuneScape.
Oh, RuneScape. I feel like that didn't come out this decade.
Yeah, that's a
It didn't.
2001 game.
2002.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely old.
I was gonna mention Journey just because.
Yeah, I'd put that there.
And like I don't know, I was gonna ask you if there's any other like big indie games that people have been like praising.
Yeah, so I definitely want to defend some indie games.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
I wanted to throw indie
I'm
games.
kind of the
on
one
there.
that plays the most of them here. You
I was-
play some, but
Yeah, I was gonna say, again, it's probably won't make it, but like Inside, I don't know if anyone has ever played that.
see,
It's
I
a
would
sequel
I
to
would
the-
have to pick Limbo over
Interesting,
Inside, which also
interesting.
came out this
Because I
decade.
played Limbo and Inside, and I like Inside more, but I
Yeah.
feel like it was just like the aesthetic of Limbo I wasn't the biggest fan of.
Right.
But like it's not like they did anything wrong.
Yeah.
Like majority of people love that game, but yeah. It's those games like not most replayability, but like if you're able to just play through it in one sitting, like it's just it's amazing
Mhm.
in my opinion. But
Yeah.
I don't know. If we're going down to top 10, I don't think it would make the list.
I don't think Inside's quite up there, nor Limbo even.
Dude, like
see.
looking at the back side of his nose.
Did I write any more?
What do I got?
Let's see here. It's tough because nobody's ever like experienced the game, but like Nier Automata is like
I've
a masterpiece
experienced
in my mind. It's just like the soundtrack, the characters in it,
Ruben
everything about it is
loves
just
that game.
yeah.
That's my
I
exposure.
feel like
to
everyone
it.
that's played that game has said that it's one of the best games of all time, but like unfortunately not a lot of people have.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing like Persona
Yeah.
5,
More
right?
Yeah.
None of us have played
Exactly.
that, but everyone talks about how amazing that game
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't throw that on there. So I don't know, man.
Not looking
Metal
too
Gear
good.
Solid's great game. I didn't play too much of it.
I wouldn't put it
unfortunately.
top 10.
No.
Yeah.
No. My top 10, yeah, but all time or
How
decade,
about what do you guys feel about BioShock 2 and Infinite came out this
Infinite,
decade?
it's tough because a lot of people claim that that's the best one. I haven't played through it all the way, like a lot of the games that we've been talking about. But I don't know. It'll never topple BioShock 1 in my opinion. It was so revolutionary. It just set the stage for like that series.
And I feel like that one did kind of, it's kind of like the front runner in terms of kind of like what Dishonored was to follow. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of in that genre, that sphere, like Deus Ex as well. Like I
Yeah.
feel like BioShock kind of maybe reinvigorated that kind of immersive sim sort of genre a bit.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, only 2 in Infinite came out in this decade.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. First one came out this decade. I'd be
Yeah, it'd be up
fighting
there.
for that one on that list.
The other one I was curious about, I don't know where. Portal 2 came out in 2011. I think that's a fantastic game.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's quite going to make it on the list. Have you guys played?
I played Portal 2.
I was gonna put it on my honorable mention for my like top 10
Yeah.
list, but like again, it's a similar thing to like BioShock, where the first one, if it came out this decade, I would
Mhm.
definitely put it on there just for like how different it was.
Yeah.
Whereas this one's just a sequel to that, so I feel like it wasn't
Yeah.
game breaking in that sense. It was cool having the co-op and stuff.
It
though.
was in the custom levels and whatnot. Here's a question. As I haven't played this game, but a lot of people, I've heard people chime in as their favorite game of all time, easily within the decade. Mass Effect 2. Did you guys play it? In the Mass
yeah.
Effect
Unfortunately, I didn't play it.
No?
Yeah, I
Travis?
have. Yeah, I would put that up there, but it's been so long.
It's
I've
2010 game,
yeah. It was a very long
What-
time ago.
Number
but
2 is kind of the Mass Effect game, right?
yeah. 3 was a big disappointment, but Mass Effect 2, yeah, great game, great role playing game, great space game.
Have you played that one, Taylor?
No, but I
Oh,
heard
dang.
good things.
So we just don't have enough representation
Yeah.
on that one.
I was gonna
Sorry to
say
Mass Effect fans out there.
I haven't played it, but Fortnite should probably be on there just for like the impact.
Yeah, I'll have to write it down.
Yeah,
Is that because like for society standards or be for us? Because
I
feel
guess
like
it wouldn't
I
have to
feel
go
like
on
for
us.
us, like in my vote, like it was a great game, but my hype literally died after 3 weeks of just like
Yeah.
getting involved with it, and then it's
Yeah.
done. I have no interest going
Well,
back
it's just
to
No,
it.
that's fair.
I mean, it's just a highly relevant game, you know. You
Yeah.
have, like Ninja appearing on like Ellen and all this shit now. It's like
Mhm.
it's because of that game that he kind of exploded to like this superstar status for like a gamer that was kind of unseen before that. So
Mhm.
it's definitely an important game. Like just the amount of people that play that game.
Did
Yeah.
Fortnite come out this decade? 'Cause
2017.
did it? Well, no, because Fortnite was around a longer period.
Yes,
of time
it came out
before
this
that,
decade.
right?
Don't waste
What
time
the fuck are you
searching
talking
that
about?
up.
Fortnite came out 2017. What are you talking about? Are you thinking of a different game? You thinking of RuneScape again?
No. I'm gonna look into it. I would say
Fortnite?
Borderlands 2, though. That would be one I would also. I feel like
Borderlands
I
2, yeah, that
there.
was a 2012 game.
Yeah.
One game.
To me, I would have to put Borderlands 1, but it's not here.
Yeah. Wait, sorry. When did that come out?
Borderlands 1?
Yeah.
2008, 2009, probably.
Oh wow, eh?
Yeah.
One. This is gonna be an honorable mention. I don't think it's gonna make the list, but PT.
PT. That's a wild pick.
Fucking love that game. Yeah.
Have you played it?
I won't go into it. I've
Or just watched the
dissected.
video?
I've watched multiple YouTube videos. I couldn't get it because they took it off the
Yeah, they
store when I
delisted it,
yeah
yeah.
it was lame.
Now it's impossible to get unless you buy a PlayStation off some dude on eBay.
Yeah.
I know you guys aren't really esports guys, and I'm even kind of a limited esport guy. But how do you feel about like a Counter-Strike or a Dota 2, which did come out this decade and are huge esports still to this very day, and are I mean esports is bigger than ever right now. So what do you guys feel?
I don't
about
know. I don't know. I've never really been into Dota because obviously I've just like had a different
The
MOBA
League,
to
yeah.
go into, and like in my opinion, I feel like League is a bigger MOBA than Dota.
Mhm.
But that's just might be like the I don't know Nintendo PlayStation or like PlayStation Xbox debate.
Yeah.
So CS:GO though was that the one you mentioned?
Yeah.
Yeah, CS:GO, it is a really big esport, and like I haven't got into that game too much, but even I've like followed the esport
Mhm.
to a limited extent.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's probably the most important game, like out of all the ones that have come out, like CS Source, CS 1.6, like those ones. I feel like the esport was never really popping off as much as it has now.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because more accessibility, people are actually
Exposure
paying
for
attention.
sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So it is a very important esport, but unfortunately, I don't go into it too much.
Mhm.
I don't know. Do you have any experience with CS:GO?
My other friends had lots of experience with
Your
it.
other friends.
I have
Not
no
these friends,
experience
but
with it
other
though.
His other alter ego.
What do you guys feel about Pokemon Go?
I think it's worthy to be mentioned just because even if it's a mobile game, it just Swift for the nation and people are still playing about it. That's the thing you talk about. Fortnite it had a big impact. People
Yeah.
talking about it, so I think it's possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it a board-worthy pick?
I would say so. It's a game that inevitably you always go back to. I feel like if you've played it.
Well, it
and-
depends. I've never gone back to it.
Ooh,
I
you
haven't
never,
gone back
You
to
never
it.
played it.
I did
think
play it, you asshole.
You did play it?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yes.
you played it.
Asshole.
I never knew
Fuck
you played
asshole.
it.
Yeah, we talked about it. I played for like,
Really?
I don't know, 2 weeks. And I was like, okay, I
I'm
get the
shocked.
gimmick.
I ran out of balls and I was out of there.
Yeah.
It's kind of the story of many.
How's
fallen
this list
warriors.
looking? How's this list looking?
I think that list is looking good.
Travis wants to leave. or
Pat Man.
something. I have a
Okay.
couple more shout-outs, I think.
Yeah, do a couple shout outs. Save us.
I mean, I definitely want
Hope
some
someone can
indie
help.
game love. I would say have Journey on there, but I do think that my two of my picks that I have in my top 10, both Spelunky and Undertale, are relevant. Undertale, kind of for what the reasons I said earlier, just like this massive game, just all made from one person who wasn't
Mhm.
even a game developer before that, but just I feel like it's like one of the biggest success stories in gaming from like this decade. And then Spelunky, just like for its influence. The Spelunky influence is tricky because a lot of that influence also comes from the like original version, which came out not this decade. But I think Spelunky HD is when the game kind of exploded on a more widespread level. But I think in terms of innovating that roguelike genre, which is now the genre of like indie games, it's such
Yeah.
a big genre. It's like games are everywhere. And I feel like, Spelunky invented like the daily challenge, which is seen all over these like roguelike games now. And I think just the level creation, it's like, and there's still like games that I feel like have never really topped it in terms of the level design that it had for like these randomly generated levels. So I think Spelunky and Undertale are very, very relevant games, but I know you guys haven't played them, so how do you feel about those?
Yeah, I don't got much to say because I haven't played them, and I honestly didn't know they existed till I met you. So that's the thing where maybe that's just my shot against them not being on the top 10 is as far as impact, but that's all I got. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, very similar. Like, I unfortunately haven't experienced them, but people that I know that have played them just praise them on and on. So
Yeah.
it's tough.
Taylor, no thoughts?
I'll say exactly what Travis said.
And then probably similar with like Binding of Isaac. Like, was
But
that one
That
blowing
one might
off?
be. That one's probably like the biggest, I would say, of like that roguelike sphere.
Was that one blowing up like with Rebirth or even
It
like
was popular from the first one, but I think
Oh,
the
okay.
first one came out this decade as
Oh,
well.
okay.
Actually. I think it came out in 2010, I want to say.
Okay.
And then Rebirth was 2012, 2014, something like that. So yeah, 2014. So I think it did. The original one did come out this decade. And I think
Yeah.
that's an important game as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the thing that put that one on the map is that it was the creator of Super Meat Boy as well, which is a really big indie game. So he kind of already had like a
Yeah.
following before that game, and then kind of just followed into him.
Okay.
What else we got? I don't know why I wrote No Man's Sky here. I just wrote like any game that was kind of relevant, I guess, but that one's not. Mario Odyssey, what do you guys feel on Mario Odyssey? Or Horizon Zero Dawn? We don't have that on here.
Yeah,
Is it in that level?
No.
No?
No, I never played Odyssey, but so I can't comment on that one. Horizon, no, I don't think it's on my personal, but I don't think if you're factoring in impact and whatnot, no.
I don't know about Odyssey. Like, I've played it and it's fun, but if we're looking at a Mario game, I'd be more inclined to put like the original Mario Maker on there because I feel like that set the
I like that.
tone for like what you could do and the updates they added to it of like
Yeah.
just the creativity, the online for it, and just
Yeah.
the maps that I still see now of that are just being made and follow up with Mario Maker 2 are just legendary. The creativity behind it, and it blows my mind just what's possible with that game. So
I like the Mario Maker pick. I think that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Put it on the list.
I'd agree. Toss it on there. Alrighty.
What else we got? I don't know. I think Mario Kart 8 is the best Mario Kart. Do you guys think it's relevant enough for a top 10 in the decade sort of thing?
No,
No.
because I don't agree with that statement.
Yeah, I don't agree with that statement either.
Yeah,
I would
you double
support
dash
you.
fuck boys.
I
Yeah.
definitely do like Mario Kart 8.
And I mean, I think Dishonored, like the first Dishonored, is the one. Like, as much as I'm saying, like Dishonored 2 is possibly a better game. They're so close, but I think Dishonored 1 was a lot more popular. Like, it seems like a lot more people just played that in general, and I think it is a fantastic game. I think that is like incredibly like unique that the DLC lets you play as the villain of the main game and like experience what the villain is doing while you were playing the main game. I think that's like incredibly creative. It's a fantastic game. Like, quality wise, it's up there with the best of the best of this decade. I think it was maybe possibly the most relevant of that genre, the immersive sim. However, it didn't really have that influence where it like made that genre explode into anything that becomes mainstream. But I think Dishonored 1 is a pretty important game.
No, I would 100% defend that to my life.
To your life.
To
my
That's what I
life,
like
yeah.
to hear.
I fucking love that game.
Yeah, it's great. Have you played it, Taylor?
I've never played Dishonored. I've seen gameplay for it, and it looks pretty good,
Yeah.
but I don't have much of a official statement on it.
Okay. Is it list worthy for you guys?
Storyline's great.
I would defer to you guys. If you looked at the game and then you really felt it was the
No? We're
top
both
10.
fans. I'll play
Yeah,
it.
we're huge fans, and like, I don't know. I just feel like the story is amazing, but it's like what you mentioned, where it didn't have the biggest impact that a lot of people were like bridging over to
Yeah.
that genre.
Yeah, it
But,
didn't
I
have
don't
that
know.
following. Okay, that's kind of the main ones I had. There's other stuff on here, but I don't know. I don't need to mention them, I guess.
Alrighty.
So here's what we have so far. We need to trim this down to a top 10. But right now we have GTA 5, Skyrim, The Witcher 3, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Death Stranding, The Last of Us, God of War, Red Dead Redemption, Spider-Man PS4, Batman Arkham City, Dishonored, Mario Maker, Fortnite, Journey, Overwatch, Hearthstone, Rocket League, Dark Souls, Pokemon Go.
Damn. 19.
That's 19?
Yep.
So we got to cut this list in half. Do you want to start by cutting stuff, or do you want to start by putting
Locking
some
in.
locks?
I feel like GTA 5 is an easy lock,
I
like
would
we already
GTA
mentioned.
5 and Skyrim. I
Skyrim's
think
easy
both
lock.
are locks.
Do you agree with the lock on Skyrim and GTA?
Yes. I'm writing down my 10 that I think are the ones. Just because there's a lot, so I'm trying to get a... What do we got here?
I feel like
One.
Smash Ultimate and Red Dead are
Did you ever play Red Dead?
Oh yeah, the first one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Oh yeah, the reason I would give again Red Dead 1 over Red Dead 2 is Undead Nightmare was fucking
Yeah,
The
fantastic.
zombie one.
great DLC.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's start. Yeah, I guess we're talking about Red Dead.
I'd say Red Dead is a lock in my opinion. Just, but like,
Yeah, I don't know. It's tricky for
you
me
weren't the
'cause
biggest fan of it.
I don't like the game. I
Yeah.
don't like the gameplay. Story's fine, but not really my cup of tea, I guess.
Not much of a
But
cowboy.
I really just don't like the gameplay like at all. It's not a game for me. Oh man, that one's tricky. I don't know if it's lock worthy for me. Like
Yeah.
that to me seems like a clean honorable mention.
Interesting. Yeah.
That's where
What
I'd be,
about Last of Us? I'd be willing to put that in there.
I think Last of Us is top 10 worthy. Honestly, I think it's one of the most like relevant game stories that people talk about.
Mhm.
I think Travis mentioned kind of like the seller of the PS3
Mhm.
almost in a way, and then even like kind of got remastered for PS4. Still a relevant game. I think it's a great story, and I think if you look at Naughty Dog, like obviously they're Uncharted games, but I feel like Last of Us stands higher than Uncharted.
Yeah.
Even though Uncharted's had 4 games, Last of Us had 1. So
I feel like Last of Us is a more emotional story, whereas like the
Yeah.
other one, he's just treasure hunter. It's not like heavy impacts where it's like life or death. Like
Well, when
Last-
you
I guess
mentioned
it is.
like Naughty Dog, now your thoughts go to Last of Us.
I agree with
That's
that
where my
now.
thoughts would go. Even though like I've played the
I don't know.
Uncharted.
Yeah, I think Uncharted's weird because there is like 4 games now. I
Mhm.
think a lot of people would say the first one's not a very well made game.
Yeah.
It is with the second one where they finally like the story was fine, but the gameplay kind of sucks. But then 2 and 3 they really hit their strides.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are like 3 the best, and then Uncharted 4 I feel like it's new, and I don't know. I feel like kind of gets forgotten about a little
Yeah.
bit, but it's
Yeah.
still as a series it's very relevant. One of the biggest mascots of the decade, you could say, is Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
Um,
Of the PlayStation.
it's funny now that we're talking about that. I don't know. Should Uncharted be on here, or is
When did the first one come out? Before 2010.
well before Last of Us, right?
When did Last of Us come out?
The start of the decade, I think.
Really? Wow.
I mean,
Came out
it's
a long time ago
it's
then.
iconic, but I mean, I feel like
no, Last of
since
Us was 2013, so it could have been
Yeah.
all 3 of them.
Uncharted was 3 was 2011, and the other one was sometime after that. So 3 and 4 are the only that qualify.
Yeah.
I feel like 3 was good. I enjoyed it, but I mean, I haven't played 4, but I feel like I didn't hear much hype for that. I feel
2
like it
is the
kinda
one
went
everyone
down.
talks about.
Yeah.
it
2 was
feels like,
fantastic.
Two's the only one I played through.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about that. Is that a contender, Uncharted, or are we?
I
talking
would
about
keep
Last
Last of Us over.
Yeah, if
Uncharted
we could
for
only
this.
keep one of them, I would between the two. Especially if
Yeah.
everyone talks about 2 and 2 doesn't qualify in this decade.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think both of them would make it on there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are we locking in Last of Us or?
Yeah, let's lock in Last of Us.
Yeah, going back to Red Dead.
Sell me on Red Dead.
The reason why I'm so adamant on having it on that list is honestly like the story. I felt like that was probably one of the best stories I've ever played in a single player game. Like where it actually had me in like tears at the end of it. I was just like not expecting the ending, and like I don't know, spoilers, but like you're just waiting to explain or like an explanation on how he's gonna get out of this situation, and then it doesn't end like the way that you'd possibly think like a fairy tale would, right? And for me, it just that story sticks with me like to this day. I don't know, like the gameplay, I loved it. I love going around and like lassoing up people, leaving them on the train tracks, just being a villain, all that crazy cowboy stuff. But like the thing that sticks with me the most out of that game is the story. So I don't know. If you weren't the biggest fan of the story,
No, I
though,
mean
so.
it's an incredibly relevant game. Obviously,
Yeah.
I mean, GTA started it for Rockstar, but Red Dead certainly holds that throne proudly. I think I just want to wait for a bit
Yeah,
and
no,
see
for
how
sure.
how other things get parsed down. Let's talk about Smash Ultimate. To me, it's a
Ooh.
great game. It is like the definitive Smash game in terms
Mm.
of roster, in terms of stages, in terms of just having solid gameplay that most people seem to enjoy. Sold Kirklin on the game. I think we're all personally fans.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is a great Smash game. It doesn't beat Melee for me, but obviously it does in many respects, just not in like the mechanics wise. So I think it is a deserving game of this decade.
I think it could be on there. I think it's tough for me to lock it in right now just
Yeah.
because there's so many other games that we haven't gone through yet.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe put a little star next to it. What does everyone else feel?
It's a lock for me. I looked at the list and I wrote down the 10 I felt strongly. I went, there's some that's personal bias and there's some that are kind of the impact. Smash is one that kind of fits both those
Yeah.
categories.
Nice.
So
Okay.
that's a lock for me.
Okay.
I don't know if it gets
We-
locked, but for me.
We can leave it for now, but it does sound like it's
What about you,
pretty-
Taylor? You've been silent in the
Looking
shadows.
at the list, I think compared to all the other options for me personally, I'd probably lock it in.
Okay. That sounds like 3.5 locks. So we could probably just lock it in right now.
Mhm. The
Alrighty.
next one I had locked was Dark Souls,
Yeah.
just for
Yeah.
the impact and whatnot.
That's an easy
so,
lock for me.
yeah,
Yeah,
think
I
that
would
one-
easy lock that.
Yeah.
The amount of games that have come after that, just
And I think the same route, because I know Dylan, you're not a big fan, so it's kind of the Red Dead route,
Witcher.
but it's The Witcher, which is a big thing. 'Cause
I'd
that
be
was
down to lock that too.
Yeah,
though, even
just
though I
'cause-
don't like it personally.
a huge game, whatnot.
and like the amount of content that it adds, just like the DLCs.
Yeah,
alone,
for
it's
the price
insane.
as well. Yeah.
So I'd lock Witcher
I
3.
would lock Witcher. How do you
Yeah.
feel, Taylor? You haven't played it
Um,
either, so
It's on Game Pass, so I really should play
You
it.
should,
at some
but
point.
you got to do it when you have time, because it is a time
Yeah,
sink.
I mean, I'm okay with that. I mean, I haven't played it yet, so I don't really have much of a say on it.
okay. So you don't want to lock it yet? Just leave it for now.
Well, if you guys want to lock it, like I'm not going to stop you because it's 3-1 anyway. So, I mean, I feel
Yeah,
like
I mean,
whether or
I-
not we lock
yeah,
it now or
I'm just
later,
looking
it's
at
going to
it
get
in
locked
terms
in.
of its influence, because I've played a little bit. I don't like it. I just didn't like the gameplay. I didn't like the Witcher sense stuff. But I think it's like an incredibly important game.
Influence-wise, I mean, I feel like 9 out of 10 gamers, you go to them like, hey, you know The Witcher, and they're like, yeah. So I feel like it would definitely
Spawned a
be
TV show.
Yeah,
Sounds like it's going to be a lock.
Mhm.
I'm just going to write it.
just lock it.
So what's
Lock.
that, 6
Get
now?
in.
So
Uh,
let's make. I'm just looking at this, and I don't want Pokemon Go to be on our list.
No.
I had a lot of fun with it. I think it's cool. I think it is obviously very innovative, and it got people out of their fucking homes, walking around playing shit. And they've just kind of iterated on it, made it better over the last couple of years since it came out. But I don't know. For me, it's not because it's a mobile game. I don't know. To me, I think there were so many features missing at launch that kept me out of there, and I still don't like some aspects of it. I don't know.
I'm fine to
I
kick
don't
it.
really want to see Pokemon go on there personally,
No,
but I'm
I'm
not
fine.
too passionate about it. That's just the first one that came to mind as the first cut. How do you feel?
Defend it.
You can make a case,
Defend
man.
it.
Make a case. 'Cause I'll hear it.
I would say that at launch it definitely was a struggle, but I think at this point in time, Niantic has added almost I'm not even sure how many regions of Pokemon. They've added so many evolutions, so many different methods of catching, events annually every single month, and incentives and customization options. You can now walk around in the game with your Pokemon walking with you. You can interact with your Pokemon, feed them, and stuff like that. The buddy system, the friend system, trading system, battle system. It's just come such a long way, and it's for that reason alone, I think like it definitely, I could see it worthy of being a top 10 because the Kelowna community for Pokemon Go is massive. Like
Yeah.
it's active, it's current, and when you go out on an event day downtown Kelowna, it's loaded. Everyone's out with their phones.
Right.
And, people are always asking, "What do you guys do?" And it's like, "Well, we're catching Pokemon."
What are you doing?
So
What are you doing?
These
it's-
narcs.
Doing it,
it's,
donkey.
it's I can go again to Vancouver or whatever, and I can hook up to like the
Oh.
Vancouver Discord.
It's a
and then
global game,
There's like
yeah.
a community there that's
All right.
rolling too.
It's
so.
good. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, we
But
can leave
it
we can leave for now.
it depends. Like I wouldn't lock it in right now.
Is there any other easy cuts for you guys? I know easy is a relative word, but
Overwatch for me, just because I haven't played it, but also just I feel like it was a in the moment sort of
Yeah.
thing, but it's kind of gone away already, in my
I feel like
opinion.
it hasn't stand the test of
Yeah,
time.
something to me like even Fortnite has stand a better time. Obviously, that's current right now, but they're still like adapting. They're still on the word of mouth of everybody. Where Overwatch it had its time in the
Yeah.
sun and it's kind of gone. It was the flavor, not the flavor of the month. That's a disrespect, but a flavor of that year. So
Slice it.
yeah.
Taylor wants to slice it.
Should I do the slicing?
What are you thinking? You wanna
Overwatch.
slice it?
Yeah, I don't know.
It got me back into first-person shooter, like all-night first-person shooters for
Yeah.
a while. I was playing it for probably a solid year, like
Yeah.
consistently.
I was playing a
So-
lot. I had a lot of fun playing with friends and stuff, but it got to that point where I felt like if I wasn't playing with friends, there was no point in playing it.
Yeah, I can
And
agree with that.
I don't know.
But so many people played it that I don't know.
It's tough because yeah.
Is it staying on there for now?
I think so.
Yeah. I don't
How
know.
Just leave it.
How about Spider-Man PS4? Because I feel like it was great for you guys, and
Yeah.
like I played it briefly at your place,
Yep.
but then you guys, I don't think you've revisited it since. It was like a
I
one
have,
and
but
done
I
kind
would
of game.
slice them both, that and Batman. They're on my personals, obviously, but if we're kind of factoring some other things, I would slice them both, to be honest.
I would slice Spider-Man,
I'd be inclined to keep Batman on
even though I love Spider-Man, but if I'm looking at like some of these big PS4 exclusives,
Yeah.
I would want to keep. I would want to see Horizon on there before Spider-Man, honestly. So I don't know. I love Spider-Man. It's a great game,
Yeah.
It's maybe a little bit short on content in the grand scheme of things, but I think it's a fantastic game. But I'd be down to cut it.
I think I'd be down to cut it as well. It's a great game. Let me swing around New York, but
Good experience.
it definitely was lacking in some content. And
Now, Batman's an interesting one though,
Yeah.
because you guys all had it. Well, I guess you didn't technically have it on your list. You guys had it both like on your list.
yeah, I fucking love that
You had
game.
it as like an honorable mention, I guess,
No,
or
no,
you
you're
just
right.
kind of.
I thought you were gonna say you didn't have it or own it, and I was gonna be like, well, I did.
Yeah, it just
You
wasn't quite on the list,
retroactively
but-
had it.
Yeah.
On there. Yeah.
What do you guys think about it? Because I think those games are important. Like people talk about those games still to this very day. People
Yeah.
are still anxiously waiting for that Rocksteady announcement of here's our new Batman game.
I just think it's tough because until Spider-Man, it didn't really inspire a whole generation of great superhero games. I think Spider-Man's gonna do that, and I think Batman's a better game than Spider-Man. So that got cut. With Batman, it's just tough because if we're talking about impact, like when we were talking about impact, like I wanted to bring up Hearthstone next, a game I've never played, but that created, like I said, an entire subgenre. Or Arkham City, it was great. It did new things for that game, but nothing new that it's just an open world, and I think it has a lot of touchstone because lots of people love Batman. It was great to see that done well, but it was just another Batman story. I do think it's a great Batman story. I think I'm underselling it, but I think in the grand scheme of just taking Batman out and being a video game, I don't think it did anything to push the medium forward.
So Travis is gonna cut it. Where do you
Yeah,
feel?
I'm a
You
little.
too, as
I'm
the
a-
guys
I'm-
who have played it as
I'm a
well.
little hesitant to cut it as of right now, just because that game like got me hyped on Batman again.
Combat's amazing.
Yeah, the
in my
combat's
opinion.
amazing, and like not even just the combat. Like when you're actually having to do like some detective work to like figure out where you
Mhm.
gotta go and stuff,
Yeah.
using your gadgets. The amount of like side Batman characters that they had in there, like
True.
villains. It opened up like a bunch of like kind of side quest stuff. That like and like characters that I never even like knew about or like didn't have like an impact on the
Yeah.
story. They were just like kind of Easter eggs. Like there's
That's
like
cool.
Calendar Man like in one of the cells.
Calendar Man.
I think that was his name, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I have no idea who this guy is. But then it like forced me to actually like start googling and like find out more about like these Batman characters. So
That's cool.
for me, it had a really big impact on just like my love for that superhero.
Yeah, the world is really well done too, as far as it's. Yeah,
Yeah.
you've talked me a little bit less from cutting it, but
Yeah.
it's still on the bubble.
It's-
For it.
Where's Taylor on this one? Because you've also played the game.
Yeah, I just playing Arkham Asylum and then transitioning to City. It was just such an upgrade in terms of like what was
Mhm.
going on. And for me, superhero games like my first real kind of interaction with a superhero open world kind of game was Spider-Man 2 back on the GameCube, and like it was great. But then moving on to like Arkham City, I feel like okay, this is like amped up because I had never had experienced any other kind of similar open world experience since Spider-Man. But with Batman and all the villains and everything in there, I really felt like okay, this feels like what a good superhero game could potentially be, and hopefully that more games will be like this. And just owning this city and being a detective, using your gadgets to your advantage and interacting with all the villains and fighting them. Like I just remember that Mr. Freeze fight was just awesome. And I love the ability to transition characters for the challenge mode. So like they had like those buildings where you go in and you have to basically stealthily take out everyone in a certain amount of time. And I love that. I love playing as Robin.
Yeah,
playing as all the
I was gonna
characters.
say I totally forgot to even mention that like the fact that you could play like Catwoman and stuff, and I just thought that was such a cool mechanic because although like the game mechanics are pretty similar when you switch characters, like they play very differently on what you can do. And they had like Nightwing in there.
Yeah, and it wasn't
Yeah,
like a
some
reskin
great
either,
DLCs.
too,
No,
which
yeah.
was nice. Because like Robin had his like staff that turned into like a shield thing too, and
Yeah.
everything. I just remember being young, thinking, I'm gonna make one of those one day.
And that and
Did
that
you?
game, it's probably
No.
got one of the best openings to a game like
Yeah,
I've ever
yeah.
played in my life.
You
It's
start
just-
as Bruce Wayne, you
yeah.
fight your way through a crowd to become Batman.
It's
Yeah.
so sick.
So it sounds like you guys like this game a lot. and
I think I want to keep it on there right now.
we'll leave it there.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Shit.
The
Hands
only one
everywhere.
I was going to say that feels a lock that we haven't talked about to me is Journey, just because that was a
Mm, yeah.
huge impact game. Everyone talks about it. I feel like people still talk about it. Yeah, I think especially with the indie games now, people compare it to that. You know, I always feel like it's kind of like the Dark Knight, where it's the best comic book movie since, and I feel like lots of people go, it's the best indie game since Journey. I hear
Yeah.
you see that BuzzFeed headline, I feel like every month from somebody. So that for me is the only one here that I'm feeling like as a super lock. The other one that we hadn't talked about too is Rocket League. I had that in my personal like top 10 of these games just because of same thing, impact, people talking about it.
Yeah.
It has legs, it's stayed, it's a fun game. I think it's a game that will stay throughout the next decade as well. So those were the two ones that for Journey and Rocket League were the next two.
I like those picks. I just know how competitive this is. So, okay. You know what I'm looking? I'm looking at Fortnite because Fortnite. Here's the thing with Fortnite. We don't play this game.
Yeah.
Personally, obviously, it's got influence. It was enough of a success that Epic Games created a whole marketplace that is now like rivaling, maybe not rivaling Steam, but it's solid competition to Steam. Like the aspect of like it getting onto the front page. My mom is asking me stuff about Fortnite and like who's this guy or like look at these winnings or whatnot. It's like such a massive game. It's really important. But when I look at us as groups of people, Taylor played it for 3 weeks and then moved on.
Never played it once.
None of us like even have interest. So I feel like we should cut it.
I think we should cut it.
Perspective.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
This is our
it's
list
still
of the
our
day.
list.
Do we really
yeah.
want Fortnite on our list?
No, I don't.
That's what, you got to ask that question to yourself.
No, no.
I know Ruben plays it, I think, religiously.
Was
right
Ruben
now.
here? No.
Yeah.
He moved to
Ruben's
Timbuktu.
But, I think
And he's
it's-
making charity commercials.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I will shout out on a good note with Fortnite. Like I think it's cool they've added things for events like the Star Wars expansion they've added right now is
The
very
Avengers
cool,
stuff
so.
they had. For
Yeah,
when Infinity
with
War came out.
Thanos in there. So I give them credit in that sense how they get very kind of in with the times.
So we have 6 games. We need 4 more.
Okay, I'm gonna make another case for a cut of Mario Maker. Here's my defense. My defense is, and this is not even Mario Maker's fault, but the fact that it was on the Wii U, and the Wii U was not a big console, and I feel like Mario Maker, I personally, like everyone came over and played it when it first came out. It was fun. I played it for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and then I kind of never fired it up again. Part of that is because it's the Wii U, and it's not a console, you're just frequenting in general. I feel like Mario Maker 2 is just a definitively better version of the game. The multiplayer is kind of jank, but it's just added more and more and more. So, I don't know. I think it's a really awesome game. It's creative, and it's like awesome for Nintendo to do that kind of thing.
Well, you say in the sense that, yes, they did release on the Wii U, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But they also released it on handhelds as well, like 3DS, which is...
See, I didn't even know that.
I didn't even know
really?
that.
I didn't even know
I
that.
didn't even know that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, shit.
That is a good point, I guess, but I honestly did not know that it was released on there. So, I don't know what to say about that. Where's everyone feel about Mario Maker?
I think there's a top 20 makes it, but not a top 10 as far as the games we have here. There's other games I'd personally put over it. Then there's other games for just impact, like I was talking about, like a Journey or Rocket League. I would put over it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever played it. However, like, just it's a great like idea, obviously, like just allowing like the creative people out there to just make these really interesting and
get your fans to make the levels for you.
exactly, near impossible levels that some people are making, and like the community that's around it. I'm assuming they're pretty positive and like on the game, but for me, I don't really have too many stakes in it, and I don't know if we're making a top 10 list. I don't know. It does have some impact in there, like I said, just like the creative wise and potential that people are doing it, but it's a tough one for me. It's a tough one for me to solidify on it. Yeah, very weak.
You're not confident.
Very unconfident.
Where do you feel, Taylor? Not a cut for you?
It's hard for me to want to say to cut it because online, like I always see videos dropping for like these really crazy maps and levels that have been made like a long time ago. I see them resurface and like out of popularity of just like even that one with like all the fireballs spinning and just the guy getting through and like the anxiety you feel watching guys do these levels, and it's something that like I mean, I feel like it's still pretty relevant and pretty up there, but I mean, you guys do make a lot of points. Like, I'm not gonna say like, oh, it's definitely lock it in, but I mean, it's hard to say. Maybe it's one that maybe revisit, but again, you guys make good points, so I don't know. For me, it would depend where Kirklin stands at this point.
Oh wow, okay. Well, I feel like although it's adding kind of like a Forge aspect to like Mario games, I feel like I'm kind of done with Mario games nowadays, like platformers and stuff. Like it was really big at the time because that's just what technology was allowing you to do. You couldn't make these AAA 3D games back in the day, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of people that play this are either super creative or they just have that nostalgic factor of like, I played all the Mario games, so I kind of want to play some new levels, but like the same aesthetic of it. So, but it is tough because Mario is one of the biggest like gaming icons that's ever been, and this is like, can't you make levels that have like the aesthetic of like a SNES version as well?
You
as
can do like all 4 different Mario 3D worlds.
That's really that's really sweet to me. And although it doesn't appeal to me, it seems really big for gaming. But I don't know though, because I feel like we'll have to revisit it.
Yeah.
once we're down to like 9, I don't know.
Well, Travis was talking about locking Rocket League.
I'm very much into what Travis was saying with Journey and Rocket League, because Rocket League, it's one of those games that's so unique, and like I'll forever like want to jump back into it. Like even if I don't play it for months, it's just fun to jump in there. Even if you don't have some buddies to play with, it's just so like unique. It's I don't know. It's similar for me with sports games. Like sports games, it's not like you could ever be done with them. It's just like it's competitive and you can always try it. So this is just adding like a new flavor to it. And Journey, obviously I'm biased because that was on my top 10 list. But I fucking love that game so much. I can revisit it. Like I feel like out of any game that I've been recommended to play through in one sitting, I will forever only do that one in one sitting, because it's just so magical, and it's such a great adventure. The aesthetic to it, the score is amazing.
Right.
It's very fluid to play. It's not
I like the Rocket League pick. Journey is, I don't know, I think it's tricky for me, because when if I look at like indie game of the decade, for me, Undertale is that pick in terms of people still talking about it to this very day. Yes, it came out later. Journey came out, what, 2013, 14, something like that? So it's a little bit older, but I feel like Undertale is the one that like people are just memeing about it. People still talk about it. They fucking included one of the characters as a Mii costume in Smash Bros. That's how big it is. It's just dominate. Like Toby Fox is like a household name for a lot of gamers now because of Undertale. The soundtrack is godlike. I don't know. I would like to see. I think that's where it gets tricky for me when I look at Journey as like a representation of indie games, and I feel like there's a better pick than that.
Yeah.
So that's where it gets tricky.
That's fair.
For me.
I just have no
I
experience.
of course want
with
to see an
Undertale.
indie game on there, but there's a lot of factors to take into account here. This is getting tricky.
Yeah.
How many do we have? We still have to cut so many. 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, we still got to cut 7. Aye.
All right. So let's talk about Death Stranding, God of War, or
Sure.
Red. Actually, I guess we've already mentioned Red Dead.
Which one?
Death Stranding's. We briefly talked about it because it's like that niche pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to recommend it to everyone, but I don't know. I just feel like it's a masterpiece and it should go down as one of the greatest video games of all time. But
I love the game. I think it's incredibly innovative, and I'd like to see it on the list for sure.
Yeah,
because it's a great game.
It's tricky though, because like if you want to ask like a bunch of people what they describe as a fun video game or what your favorite video game was, some people would say super fast pace where it's very competitive. Some people would say it's fully story driven. I want a lot of cutscenes in there. I want a game like Heavy Rain where you're basically just doing like directions with your stick. Yeah. So it's tough.
I think it just comes down to like the Fortnite thing. If we didn't want Fortnite on it, but us 3 won on the list, then I think it's worthy.
I think we could do Death Stranding from that perspective as well, because it's a personal thing, and I think it is a good success story. I mean, Kojima, I feel like he overdoes it a bit, that it's like he's like some indie developer. It's like, no, you have a massive team. You had like 80 people from Guerrilla Games, Media Horizon, working on your game. Like, this is not the indie story like a Toby Fox, but I think it is still a big success story of being kind of pushed out of this thing and you're like this creation of yours, and then coming back really very strong.
Was this the first like IP that they've done under Kojima Productions?
Yeah.
So I'd be down to lock Stranding on there for simplicity's sake of our list.
I would very much so.
We have 3. Camp. We kind of have the majority here, hey?
You know, I like whales, so
good.
Throw it on.
You do like your whales. So how many locks do we have? We have 7 locks?
Need 3 more.
Damn.
I think you got to figure out the indie thing, and I'll leave that up to kind of, well, I don't know. Taylor hasn't played Undertale either, so it's kind of tough. But I think if you're going to have one, it's either Journey or that one. For me, I'm indifferent as I've not played either one, so I just go on based on what I heard. So that's where.
And I haven't played Journey myself.
Yeah,
so
it's very tough. And of course, I haven't played Undertale.
Yeah, so you guys have played the exact opposite.
Yeah, that one's
me
really
and Taylor have
hard.
done nothing yet.
So I think maybe. Well, Taylor, what do you feel?
We're still
on
playing
that?
Strikers.
On like an Undertale versus Journey, or just either one.
You haven't experienced either, have you?
No, I'm gonna pull up like pictures so I can remember like the
pictures.
Is
Journey's like the sand.
Yeah, is
sandy,
Undertale? Sorry, you talked about it earlier. Is it like an RPG? I kind of
I guess so. Yeah, there's different endings and stuff based on your decisions. Like you can do like the kind of pacifist run where you can play through the whole game without killing a single person, or you can just be really destructive. And then it has like the story is really emotional, really well written, and it kind of follows based on your decisions.
Yeah.
It's
See-
also like very much like Earthbound inspired and like NES inspired era games. So.
Okay.
I'd be inclined to put my vote towards Journey because, like, looking at the two, I recognize both of them, but the Journey one I'm more familiar with, and I feel like that's one that people probably are more knowledgeable on. Like the Undertale,
That's
I
fair.
recognize the logo, but I don't remember
Yeah.
anything about the game.
It's possibly just like an anecdotal thing. Like the people
Yeah.
I follow on the Twitters and whatnot are just big Undertale fans. But
I feel like
like-
you're
yeah.
deeper in the indie community too, so and it's interesting because Journey, like it's very simple. There's no alternate endings. There's no like dialogue whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's just you just go on your journey, and it's very like linear to an extent. Like there are certain paths you can take that are a little bit different.
I think something
but-
for going for Journey as well is people would look at it and say like this is the best game of this year.
yeah,
Whereas Undertale has the stiff competition of Witcher 3, so it's like
yeah, that's a
perhaps
little
in that
tough.
argument it wouldn't be up there.
Yeah, and like Journey, like I said, it's very simple. There's no alternate endings. There's no passive run or anything. But like, in my opinion, I feel like that adds to, like the beauty of it. That it's just this one. It's like you're watching a movie,
Yeah.
and like when you watch it the second time, you know what you're getting into. But it doesn't make it any lesser. But of course, I haven't played Undertale, so it's tough. I'd say, yeah.
I like so how many we got 7 locks. So I'm looking at if we do lock Journey and Rocket League,
Yeah.
that means we only get one more game. There's
Uh,
a lot
Are
of
we
great stuff on
confident?
here.
Are we confident in Rocket League?
I am.
I'm
yeah,
confident in Rocket
I'm
League.
confident in League. Do you want to
let's
just
lock Rocket.
lock it?
If we locked Rocket League and if we were to lock
Lock it,
Journey,
League.
I feel like the only one for me that I would want to lock in there is Red Dead Redemption.
As your final one.
Yeah.
Oh
So-
yeah, everyone voted. Ooh, that's tough.
And that's I think the tricky for me there is that look at like Rockstar and they have like a better game this decade.
Right.
I mean, they're different games, they're different series, but I guess I'm just biased because I really don't like playing Red Dead.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of it, and it is very important.
Now that we're kind of last, yeah, 'cause we have 2 more picks. Do we want to just start making some cuts to make it a little bit easier? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I'll
We haven't
reiterate
even
mine.
talked
I'd be down
about
to cut Pokemon
Dishonored.
Go.
I think Pokemon
Mario
Go, Mario
Maker,
Maker. I'm
Overwatch.
sorry, Dylan. I
At
think
this point, I can
Dishonored
cut
might be gone.
Overwatch.
Overwatch.
Hearthstone. Wanna cut
I
that?
don't have any say on Batman.
So what are we cutting
You have
right
the
now?
rag.
Mario Maker.
Mario Maker.
Let's cut it.
Overwatch.
And Go.
Pokemon Go.
Simplify.
Has to go away.
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go.
Pika.
You guys want to yank Hearthstone out or? 'Cause
Okay,
I feel
so
like being
we
the
have 2 more
last
picks or one
one-
more pick? 2 more picks, right?
Well, we
Well,
didn't
2
ever
more,
decide on
yeah.
Journey,
We never
right?
decided on Journey.
Yeah, Journey. I don't think it's quite a lock.
Yeah.
Anything else? Like we haven't really talked about God of War. What do you
Yeah,
guys
we
feel about
have.
God of War?
I would take it out
As
because we haven't.
You've beaten the game, right?
Yeah, it's tough. I think it's. Yeah, I have. It's tough because
Would you call the story one of the greatest stories of the decade?
It's very much Last of Us,
Ooh.
right?
Yeah,
It's like you're an old man and you have a young kid with you.
yeah.
And
If
you're kind
it,
of exploring this world together.
it is similar, if I had to pick one or the other, I'd go with The Last of Us, which
Yeah.
we all obviously had. So for that note, I would. But then the gameplay, that's tough because if you put it versus Last of Us, the gameplay is far superior in God of War. So
Yeah.
that one's tough.
God of War is tricky because Taylor, of course, hasn't played because he's an Xbox guy.
I played the originals.
That's
Thanks,
kind of
Taylor.
irrelevant. I haven't
I haven't
I
played
haven't
the story
it.
to
It
the full
looks great.
extent.
I just don't think it's a game for me. And
Yeah.
you've played just a bit of it.
Yeah.
So I feel like God of War would be a potential cut.
Yeah, we could cut it. It's a
If
tough
Travis
cut, but-
isn't passionate about it, then that's
Yeah.
kind of all we need to see. You know, it's quite the rag maneuver you got there, Mister.
Last of Us, but I kind of got the T.
All right, so we have 5 left.
Okay, so
I obviously have massive bias on the line for Dishonored. but,
me too. So on the chopping block right now, what do we want to get rid of? Red Dead is kind of in deep water.
I'd still keep Red Dead.
Are we at the point where we can all pick our 2, and then we can see what? other
Oh,
ones
Yeah, we
we
could
okay.
do that. and
Yeah, let's
see
do
and
that.
We
fight.
usually do that for Golden Geeks.
Let's do that.
Do some check marks next to them.
So, Ooh. I feel like I'm a
Yeah.
little.
I
want to
like
fence
add
still.
Undertale.
Let's just go one by one. So does anyone have one vote for Hearthstone?
To keep.
Oh man,
If it's a
Yeah,
tie,
we'll just do
okay.
check marks and see.
Out
what
of
has
all
the
of
most
these,
check marks.
no.
One
I
for
have one
Dishonored.
guaranteed check mark for Dishonored.
'Kay.
And then my other one, I don't know yet. I have to.
I have
I would
Uh,
put
I have
you can-
one guaranteed check mark for Journey.
Because it's tough. What does Travis do? Does he do the impact route or does he do the selfish
I
the
put-
game he likes more?
put mine on Arkham and Red Dead. Those are my 2.
Oh, this guy just making it complicated. Just thinning out our.
I'm gonna have to follow my former Wolf Lord brother in there and put one on Red Dead, put one on Arkham too, and go for the
shit.
go
All
for
right.
the selfish picks.
So
that means you
get
got
one more
one.
pick and I
Damn.
get one more pick. So we could we could get
just
pretty
get
chaotic
rid of
with it. And
That means at least Hearthstone's out.
We can kick Hearthstone out. Let's get rid of
Okay,
Hearthstone.
Hearthstone's gone.
Because that's not going to be a player here. And oh man, yeah, this is tricky because like I know it's kind of like the like my vote is honestly for Journey. I think so that's where it is tricky. So I'm gonna write it and we're gonna leave it.
And so it's up to
Fuck.
Kirkland.
Oh my
So
God.
Kirkland's deciding who's going to go to
So
number
you could
9
tiebreaker
slot.
Dishonor, then we enter fucking round 3,
Yeah.
or
This is when it gets interesting. This,
or
is
you
when
could lock one thing guaranteed. I
this is
guess.
when the fun begins.
Just go to
Oh no, this is pod racing. Fuck man, this is tough because I love all these games. I think
Yeah.
they're all on my
you
list.
you have skin in the game for all of them. Right?
I feel like the one, it hurts to say it, but I feel like the one that's the lesser of all of them is Dishonored because
Sad, but I understand.
like Journey, I could replay that game any day of the week, even though it is very linear. Oh god, I've replayed this one thousands of times though.
Thousands.
Red Dead Redemption is the only one I haven't replayed out of these
Okay.
three actually. What do
I
you
just think we're going to go to a coin flip here soon, so I'm about to get a coin.
Okay. This is really fucking tough, man.
No pressure.
I want to hear some like pitches, but
Okay,
everyone already did their
my
vote.
pitch is I haven't played Journey or Batman.
Yeah.
I don't like Red Dead.
'Kay.
So I don't want to see Red Dead because I don't personally like the game.
Yeah.
But obviously, this is more
So-
like I don't like Witcher either, and I think that's a lock.
Talking
So-
about Red Dead, I feel like the smoothness of the game and
Yeah.
like the mechanics and stuff, they're probably pretty dated
Uh-huh.
nowadays. So I feel like it probably wouldn't be worth a playthrough, especially since Red Dead 2's out. And if you go from Red Dead 2 to Red
Yeah.
Dead 1, it would just feel like bare bones.
Yeah,
But
I also would say if
the
I'm picking
story-
between
yeah.
these two, Red Dead and Batman, I would pick Batman. Not
Yeah.
like even just for I don't know. People talk about both these games. It's so hard to
I know. I feel like Arkham is more fun to play than Red Dead because Red Dead can be very slow at times. There's a lot of just slow like horse rides into the distance
Yeah.
in the sunset. But like I feel like the story is just so much better
Yeah.
in Red Dead Redemption. Holy moly, ravioli!
You have a lot of weight on your shoulders.
This
right
I
now.
should have voted first. I guess I don't know what my second one is though. Okay.
Corvo Tano.
I know. You want me to just do it?
Of course I do.
I'm gonna do it. I fucking love this
Oh
game so
boy.
much.
Okay,
I feel like I like Dishonored more than those two. So.
Taylor, are you budging at all on any of these?
No, I
Okay.
stand firm.
I could
love
budge.
Red
I could
Deads.
budge on Journey. I could budge on Journey.
For-
If I did, I would budge to Arkham over it. That
Yeah.
would be my. That's where I would be willing to make a change. Personally.
So what you'd put in the combo of Journey and Batman?
No, I'm saying I would remove my vote from Journey and put it on like Batman.
Okay.
Even though I haven't played it, of course. I haven't played either of them. So,
So if you moved your vote and we just kill off Journey, would I be able to move my vote?
that would be. Then you would once again have the weight on your shoulders of having to pick between the final two.
Well, yeah.
Well,
if
are
this
either of
one's-
them willing to budge? 'Cause it
Let's
doesn't
just
sound
say
like it.
Nope.
let's just say Journey's out of there and
Sure.
it's down to these three. I want Dishonored to win out of those three. Oh wow, it's already out. Okay.
Let's get rid of him. I'm moving my vote to Batman,
Big sus.
and then you pick the final one.
Fuck.
Where are you putting it?
So Journey's
You're-
out for
you're
the
gonna-
listeners.
You're gonna
So
pick
between these
Dishonored
two?
over Red Dead.
Yeah.
Kirkland.
Dishonored.
Ooh.
Think about that level design. Think about cruising through Dunwall
Think
Tower.
about Undead Nightmare. Think about John Marston. and
Think
his
about
ending.
playing the whole game without killing a single enemy or killing everyone.
Think about the
Like
tears
Somewhere
this-
in
that you
between,
had.
and the story follows you.
This statue's from Batman Arkham City.
Think about it.
A
You
Geek
play
First Top
this
10 game.
chaotic build where you kill a bunch of guards and stuff, and then the rat problem in Dunwall just gets worse because of that. And then it makes
Yeah.
the level changes how the levels evolve.
You remember that ending in Red Dead though? It brought you to tears. It was just.
Oh,
you
it
thought
did.
It was gonna be good.
Think about the
Wow,
DLC.
battle.
The DLC where you play as Dowd. You play as the villain of the game. He has a different moveset, and you get to see what he was doing this whole time.
Fuck. I
Or
feel
you
like
could-
I'm
you
more.
could find
to see more of the
Bigfoot in
Brigmore
Red Dead
witches.
Redemption.
It sucks because out of these three, I think I want these two to make it and not Arkham. I am caught between a rock and a hard
All
place.
you gotta say to yourself is you're stuck on an island. They say you can only have one game for
I
the
could
rest
do
of your
that.
time there.
I could do
Oh,
that. We
okay.
can
So
make a
it's
deal. We can make a deal.
Oh, Red Dead's got way more.
I'll cut out
replayability.
Batman and I'll lock Red Dead if you agree to lock.
But
Dishonored.
I'm more. Oh my god.
That's what you just said. You said you want to see those two, right?
Okay. If you want to do that,
Should we do it?
we're making some wages here.
Making
Yeah.
some cuts, making some
It
changes.
sucks though because this doesn't really have like replay factor for me nowadays because Red Dead 2's out. So why would I ever jump back into
Ooh.
Red Dead 1?
Better story, John Marston.
Yeah, but then you have to go through those super slow like.
The combat, the gunplay is not great. When you go back to it, it's awful. That's the same with GTA. Go back to GTA 4, shooting a gun feels awful because Rockstar, I mean, they're not innovative when it comes to combat.
I'll put. Oh, I already voted.
Yeah.
I just put 2 votes into Dishonored. Okay. So you're gonna switch your vote
I switched my vote to Batman
to Batman.
And you have
from
one.
Journey.
You have one more, so you could either
I
make
can't vote for Dishonored again.
no. So you could vote for Batman and then make it a coin flip and take yourself out of it, or you can kill Dishonored.
I don't want to kill Dishonored, so whatever I do to not kill Dishonored, that's the one I.
So then
go
you
with.
just choose not to vote,
Choose
or
not
you
to
put it on
decide.
Batman, so it's a 4, and then there's a 2v2. So it's you two vote for Dishonored, me and Taylor for Red Dead, and we coin flip it.
Oh my gosh. Are we going down to the coin toss?
Just put on Red Dead. Save everyone trouble.
No, but I want Dishonored on there. Dishonored has such a big impact on me.
It's a great game.
No, you're not wrong. You're in a pickle. I can't help you.
This looks like a coin toss situation.
I think we're gonna have to. We
Okay,
got
so
too much
Batman's
dead air
in.
here.
I will give Dylan Kirkland the benefit of saying what they want Dishonored to be,
Look at
heads or
that
tails.
loony.
And this is
That
going to
is
happen a few
loony.
times because in Golden Geeks for the 2019, 2020, there's only 4 of us, or the 20 decade, so
Yeah.
Are you
coin
good at
flips.
coin flipping?
What are you, and what are you calling what? What side's what?
I think you should flip it.
What are you
'Cause
gonna?
You're the guy who.
Is Dishonored
but-
heads or tails?
Yeah. What do you think? Dishonored heads or tails? I feel like it should be the head.
Yeah, sure.
I'm fine either way. This is a fair way to decide it.
Get your
you
core
know?
goes
God.
So-
Am I catching it and then flipping
So
it?
to be clear, heads is Dishonored.
Heads is
Okay,
Dishonored.
heads Dishonored, tails Red
Am I
Dead,
catching it and then flipping it, or just
catch
catching
and
it?
flip.
Catch and flip.
Catch and flip. Yeah, we're all on the same terms.
Ready?
Catch and flip.
Heads.
Nice spin.
No.
So there you go. It's tails. Red Dead Redemption
Road
is
on the
on the
flip.
number 10.
I feel gross.
So there you go.
That's
I feel
that's
gross.
messed up.
Yeah.
You guys
That's
want
messed
to
up.
read that out? 10A, 10B.
So now we have to order them though.
You have to
don't we?
order them now. So we have GTA 5,
Yikes.
we have The Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, we have Witcher 3 Smash Ultimate, Death Stranding, Last of Us, Red Dead Redemption, Batman Arkham City. Sorry, Dishonored, I love you very much. Dishonored and Splunky didn't make it. It makes me deeply sad. Dark Souls on there, Rocket League.
I put Red Dead at 10 because it had to go to a coin flip. So
Yeah.
it barely
Fuck
made it
Red
on.
Dead.
So Red Dead's at 10. I would
Put
say
Arkham at 9.
it just barely made it in. So same thing. Arkham at 9. In my opinion, I'd put GTA, Skyrim, and Smash Ultimate in the top 3 as just for personal
Yeah.
stuff for us 3. The ordering, I would say GTA 5 would probably be first because you guys
I
had
think
it
we
also
should
high.
put
But
GTA 5 first.
yeah, you guys
'Cause
had
it's
it also.
also-
Yeah.
The best selling game of all time, or like top
Yep.
3 at least.
Makes sense. It's
It
yeah.
still has a life to this very day. It's like
Yeah.
going to every console pretty much.
I feel like Dark Souls could probably go lower on the list just because none of us have put
Yeah.
too much time into it.
GT 5 should be number 1.
And I think Skyrim next.
Skyrim definitely number 2.
A game I've never played.
You've never played Skyrim?
Never touched open a
Wow.
save file at all.
You agree with Skyrim number 2?
Yeah.
I've watched people play it, but I just know its impact. It's just one that it passed me by, and I'm like, I'll get to it, and then it's 5
You're
years
a
later.
Fallout kind of guy.
Yeah, and it's 5 years later, and I'm like, I never got to it. And I'd go Smash Ultimate 3. Just that's our personal,
Okay,
but
yeah.
whatever. We all feel strongly on
Let's
it,
do it.
because there's other aspects. Because like Dylan's not the biggest fan of Witcher. Last of
Yeah.
Us, you can make the case about
I
gameplay. If you want to put Dark
I
Souls,
honestly
at 3,
think Dark Souls should be at the top. Here.
I'm
I
fine
think
with
it should
that.
Be number 3, personally.
I'm
Oh,
fine
okay.
with
Dark
that.
Souls is a fucking important game,
Yeah, I'm
and
fine.
also like I don't like the game overall because there's some unfinished parts, but there's also moments in that game are some of my favorite like gaming moments. Like it's a fantastic game, so I would put Dark Souls or I'm thinking of Dark Souls and Witcher are probably above Smash Ultimate for me personally. Maybe not personally, but like that's where I think they should go.
Yeah.
Well, if we're doing the personal thing, then I would go Witcher 3, then Dark Souls for me, just because also I love Witcher. Haven't played Dark Souls, so there you go, clear bias. But both have big impacts, so it's tough.
It is really tough. All 3 of those games are big. Like obviously, Ultimate like literally changed my whole outlook on.
Can we work
Smash.
from the bottom?
Yeah, let's do
Does
that.
that help?
Arkham City.
Arkham
Put that
City's
at
Arkham
nice.
City was 9 because it was the last to get
Yep.
in, so I think that's fair. Yeah.
Um,
Rocket League, I think makes a good 8.
I don't know if I'd want to put Rocket League down there because I feel like that's got like a very.
I think
huge
the
I
only
think it's
thing-
impact,
below
I think
those
it's either
other
Death
ones.
Stranding or
Yeah.
Rocket League at 8.
I was gonna say Death Stranding.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
it's
and then
it's
the opposite
new.
one in
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
So which
Okay.
order?
I'd say
Death Stranding next?
Death Stranding because it's newer, and Rocket League's had a bit more time to salivate in the culture.
What do you guys think about Last of Us coming into number 6?
I think it's a solid pick.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And
let's do it.
then what? We go Smash at number 5, and then we decide between 3 and 4. Coin flip.
Yeah. Yeah, coin flip.
Dark Souls is still one of them. Okay, so we have 4 left. Sorry, I missed your conversation.
Last of Us
seconds.
is
That's 6. Yeah.
I could agree with that. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
And then you guys were thinking what of being Smash Ultimate being 5.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I would agree with that.
and then Witcher and
And that
Dark
leaves
Souls
Witcher and Dark
at 3 or
Souls.
4.
I'd put Dark Souls above Witcher because I feel like
Wow.
that's. I mean, I
Wow.
haven't played like a lot of Dark Souls, but I mean, it's
Kirklin,
something
you?
I know more in the market.
I like Witcher
don't
3
think- yeah.
obviously more, but I think I would agree with that just for the impact that game has had on games to
It's
follow.
spawned a genre.
Yeah,
Witcher 3
fair
has
enough,
spawned
yeah.
a genre.
No, exactly.
Dark Souls
So-
3?
Fair enough. Yep. Works for me.
That was much easier to figure this out than I thought it was going to be.
Oh man.
Well,
I'm
you
still
only have
salty
10 to
about
play
those
with.
Briggs would
picks.
be happy with our placement of Dark Souls, so that's good as well.
I'm still salty about
All right,
this
Dylan, you want
already,
to read out the
Yeah, honorable
Collective
mention
list?
Dishonored, 0 Spelunky, like come
though.
on.
0.
Undertale sneaking in there. Yeah, let's do it. So this is the
Official.
Geekverse Games of the Decade list. At number 10, Red Dead Redemption, which came out in
10.
I kind of want to do the years. 2010. Batman Arkham City,
2011.
2011. Number 8 is Death Stranding, of course, 2 months ago, 2019. Number 7 is Rocket League, which I want to say is a 2015, 16, 14 sort of era. Probably 15. Where is it? 15. 2015 is when Rocket League came out. Number 6, The Last of Us, which came out 2013, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, we're in the top 5 now, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch, 2018. Number 4, The Witcher 3, 2015. Number 3, Dark Souls, which came out 2011. 2011, I think. Number 2, Skyrim, also 2011. And then number 1, Grand Theft Auto 5.
Boom.
Boom.
You want to race those?
Sure.
So you're telling me, Travis, with all those remastered versions of Skyrim, you never hopped
No,
on that
never
bandwagon?
touched it once.
Wow.
Never
They're
played
really
it.
trying to reach your kind of market.
They really are. I've not played a single Elder Scrolls game, to be honest.
You've never played a single Elder Scrolls game?
0.
Holy
Yep.
crap.
Most people haven't played any but Skyrims.
Yeah. Yeah, don't throw them. Have you played those other two, Taylor?
He's played all
Morrowind
the
I
games.
played.
I know. I'm
played
just
them both.
bugging. Calm down. We're doing most anticipated now. I think this one will
Sure.
be easier,
Where is
as
that?
lots of games we don't know
Personal.
exist.
Yeah, so we're doing top 5 most anticipated. I
Yeah,
guess.
I
It's
did
not really
5
ordered,
because
but
I
just-
couldn't find 10 that I was.
Yeah.
anticipating
I have
for.
6.
I have like a bunch of random indie games, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
We'll give them. We'll
most
throw
anticipated.
Spelunky 2
These are
on
just
there.
this one needs no explanation.
Spelunky 2.
Our favorite game. Spelunky 2 is my most anticipated game.
Put it on there.
Yep.
We'll give you. We'll probably give it to you for that Dishonored one. I want to throw in a hope for Taylor and I. This is what the thing is. These games might not even exist. Just the hope in the next 10 years we will get a Strikers 3.
Fucking do it.
That's.
I thought we were doing announced games.
Oh, were we? Okay, then take it off. I was
Oh,
just throwing.
damn.
That's
yeah, I think
fine.
we're doing announced games because that's just we could go down some rabbit holes if we're talking any game
GTA
ever.
7 because it's not announced, but we know it's coming. They're working on it.
GTA 7.
Or 6. Sorry,
Wow.
6. Right?
Yeah.
It's not announced though.
That's the thing. I'm looking at announced games.
Oh, then I have 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then maybe that I
I have
don't
the
want to
Georgia-
ruin the fun.
no, it's fine.
Could you
But
put Elder Scrolls 6? Like it's not.
well, that's
it is
announced.
announced.
There's a
That's
teaser
announced.
date
There was a
out.
teaser.
There's no date though. I wasn't sure if this
Starfield?
was like. Yeah.
Starfield.
I wasn't sure if it was like 2020.
Kirklin looked at me
list.
like I made up a game. What?
Another one for me is Deathloop, which is the next game from Arcane.
Mhm.
So the way Arcane works is like they made Dishonored 1, and then they split off. One team made Dishonored 2,
Mhm.
one made Prey. The one that made like Dishonored 1 and Dishonored 2 is making Deathloop. So
Oh, nice.
I'm fucking super stoked for
hyped.
this game.
Yeah, let's do that.
What about Breath of the Wild 2?
Not announced.
It was
Yeah, it is.
announced.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
Sure.
okay. That's lame.
That's fine.
That's lame.
Maybe it's
I
better
still
than the
think
first
that
one.
they should not call it Breath of the Wild 2 and just make a whole new Zelda game like
It
they've
might
done
have
in
a
the
different
past.
title. I don't think they title
Okay.
dropped it.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, Cyberpunk in there.
You're breathtaking.
Last of Us 2.
Yeah, Last of Us 2, and whatever the fuck that George R. R. Martin game is.
Oh yeah.
Elder Ring or whatever.
Yeah, Elder Ring. That's from id Software.
What was the other one in here?
Last of Us 2.
Last of Us 2.
Louis 2.
I have Dying Light 2, but I feel like
I have that
I feel
too.
like that's a you and me game.
Yeah,
so.
put it in. I forgot to throw that in my other list. I'm so choked.
It's-
Put it in.
Halo Infinite.
Oh, okay.
Skull and Bones. No,
I
I'm
don't know.
joking.
This one, I felt like we were all pretty hyped on it after the E3 Watch Dogs Legion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on mine too.
Don't shake your head. You were hyped on
I
the
would.
trailer.
I would. But I don't think it's a top fiver.
No, but it's worth throwing
I
on
don't
there.
think that's a top fiver either.
Avengers.
That's not a top 10.
What else do I got on my list? What do you guys think of Metroid Prime 4? Do you guys care about that game? You all have Switches now.
I don't care after I have to wait to see more to care because just it got torn down, start from
Yeah.
the finish, change
Yeah.
the developers.
It's not. I don't like Metroid that much. That's not a top 5
Yeah.
for me. But is it worthy of conversation for you two? Do you think?
I'm pretty hyped on it. Not gonna lie.
Release the Metroid Prime cut.
What else do I got on my list? That was kind of most of the big ones. I have a ton of indie games, but these guys don't know what those games are, so it's not really worth talking about
Yeah.
necessarily. I'm just glad it's pulling.
I had one we don't have to throw on there, but has anyone ever played System Shock, like the original? They're remaking it, and I'm just hyped because
That's cool.
that's like one of the
That's really cool.
OG like horror games.
Yeah,
so,
Prey is very much inspired by System
Oh, okay,
Shock,
yeah.
so you should check that out.
absolutely.
What was I gonna say? Do either any of you guys care about Animal Crossing or Doom Eternal?
No.
Animal Crossing, yeah.
Doom, yeah. So the split.
I'm getting a little wavy with my
I like it. Ride the wave.
Oh, anyone care about Ghosts of Tsushima?
No.
Tsushima?
I care, but not enough to. I know it's not going to be a top fiver
That's
for me.
fair.
Yeah, I'm not the most hyped on it.
Mm-hmm.
What were your other games that don't qualify anymore? Like, I feel like you should at least shout them
I had
out.
Smash 5, I had GTA 6, I had Spider-Man 2, and then I had the Batman game that will probably come out in 2030. So.
Right.
Okay.
Like Horizon 2, which is
Yeah,
gonna
so
happen, but not really.
I
Some of
got
those.
Assassin's Creed Ragnarok, but I mean, it's not confirmed.
It's
but
not confirmed, Dylan.
It's on Wikipedia. So.
It's not that Wikipedia. I can
Anything
change
else
that.
that starts with an A, so I can use this A for good.
You already. Oh, you got Animal Crossing written down. What do you got, Kirklin?
I have Ghostwire Tokyo. That's that Bethesda
Oh.
game that I for some reason I thought it was Ghost of Tsushima until I like looked into it, and they didn't really show too much, but it just looks really interesting. And shouts out to Bethesda.
Yeah, that one's interesting because like the lead creative developer just pieced out
Oh really?
of the project like right after E3.
Oh
Good.
wow.
A good sign.
This is
That's not a good
actually it's that girl that at the Game Awards, that Japanese girl
Yeah.
who's like always
Yeah.
just doing all dances and stuff. So she's hilarious.
Release
so
the Ghostwire.
she
cut.
left the project now, so that's why I'm like
She left after the Game Awards? She was at the Game Awards.
not the Game Awards. She was at the Game Awards, but not for that game.
Oh, I was.
She
Wow.
left after E3. I believe it was just after E3. It sounds like it was kind of shady sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But she's kind of a freelancer now. So
Okay.
that one I would have been had she still been in there. But after hearing all that, it's just kind of made me a little bit sketched out of it.
Throw on Lego Star Wars Saga.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Throw
Oh,
on.
fuck yeah.
That
I'm
you
so
you
hyped
had to
on
be
that.
confident on that one, so you're lucky it was what it was. But you're just like throw it on there.
I like that pick a lot.
What about Resident Evil 3?
I don't care personally.
No.
No. Oh.
Do you? Is it a most hyped game for you?
It's
'Cause
not
you didn't play
most-
Resident Evil 2, the remake.
No, like I've played like a few of them, but I know Resident Evil 3. Like I felt like that's pretty iconic for Resident Evil fans. So I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if it would.
I feel
be
like
one
that's
to throw on
similar
there.
that you could do with like Final Fantasy VII remake. I'm not too interested in it, and
Yeah.
I'm assuming we all aren't but
right.
I know a lot of people are. So
Are
I'm
you-
also excited for this game called UFO 50, another game from the
Mm.
developer of Spelunky and some other devs. That one seems pretty cool. There was some good stuff shown in that recent Nintendo thingamajig. So Hollow Knight sequel coming out next year, I believe, which looks great as well. But
Any of you guys excited for Predator Hunting Grounds?
You
it
are
actually looks kind of
secretly.
fun. I'm surprised you're not more stoked on it.
He
As someone who
is.
loves Friday the 13th.
It's just because he can't play it.
No, it's
That's
just
why.
why
No.
can't you play it?
It's only PS4 exclusive.
I've
so.
played enough Predator games.
It's
It's
such
nothing
a lie.
new.
How much?
It's
The
not-
I
guy
played
talks
enough.
about
I
Predator
played
on the
enough, yeah.
hourly of his life.
I don't need any more.
Yeah.
We throwing Skull and Bones up.
No.
No.
You do that, I'll break that
This
board.
is kind of everything from me, I think.
Me
Yeah,
too.
I don't think I have anything else to add.
What
Us-
about Half-Life? Isn't that
The
pretty
thing is,
like
none
a
of us have
VR.
VR.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Oh.
and I don't think we're going to be getting it for Half-Life. I don't think any of us are really Half-Life guys in general, right? I think it's a little before our time.
I liked Half-Life, but like not Die Hard.
Yeah.
I haven't played like the episodes.
You know,
or
those
anything
people have
like
been
that.
waiting day
No,
in and day out
exactly.
for the announcement.
I like the first two. First two are
Yeah.
solid.
Any other ones, Mr. Field?
I think it's a good list. Oh, you're not. I'm not Mr. Field. Sorry.
Well, you too.
You done,
Anyway.
Taylor?
Other than that, what is this Dragon Ball Z? Kakarot?
Okay.
Okay, yeah, no.
All right, enough of your
Whoa.
nonsense.
You're just Google searching. It's not even from the heart. I'm going to start the conversation off.
You know I like Dragon Ball. but-
3 locations. I'm going to start off 1 for Spelunky to give Dylan some love. 2, Starfield. I think we're all really interested to see what Bethesda can do.
There's so many Bethesda games
PES
in here.
6. I'm not going to vote for PES 6, no. Starfield, because I think we're all interested to see what they can do. And then my other third one I feel very strong with Cyberpunk. I feel like we're all very hyped about that. The world, you look at The Witcher, whether you like it or not, they build great games. CD Projekt Red has a lot of hype behind it.
Mhm.
Those are the 3 I feel the most strongly. 4 and 5 I can go in multiple locations, but those are 3 I think are really strong.
I 100% agree with that.
I am extremely hyped on Lego Star Wars. Like probably one of my most hyped games of next year. But
Okay.
I feel like it's a game that's already been out.
We
So-
know what we're getting.
Yeah,
with that
yeah,
game.
exactly. It's not like
a known
Starfield or
variable.
something or Cyberpunk where it's like I
It's
can't
not
wait to
going to be
jump in
game of
there.
the year. It's not
No.
going to change anything.
No,
It's going to be a
exactly.
nostalgia trip. Like I love these games when I was
Yeah.
a kid. I'm honestly not planning on buying that Star Wars Lego game. I think it's going to be tons of
Oh.
fun. It's just with the games that are coming out next year, I got to pick and choose.
Yeah,
and that's
I hope
not,
it drops in a nice time frame.
oh, it's going to drop same day as Cyberpunk, guaranteed.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay. So
I also looking at this. I mean, Deathloop's a lock for me personally, just because of the quality that Arcane has consistently stuck with.
I'm not
Elder
opposed
Scrolls
because I like that
6 is an
trailer.
easy lock for me as
Oh,
well.
right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
The rest
PES
of these,
6.
I agree with Travis on Cyberpunk. Obviously, Spelunky is my number 1, and then the rest of these,
Not on Starfield? You don't agree on Starfield?
I do agree on Starfield.
Okay.
I feel
I'm
like
more
you could
excited
take
for
out
Elder
this whole
Scrolls than
list.
Starfield,
Of course,
but I
yeah.
do agree with it. And then these,
I feel like you
From
can
the
take out
fact-
this
I
whole
am
I
list.
excited
agree.
for Avengers, but I'm also very fearful of Avengers.
What do you, what,
And then
I-
personally, Animal Crossing would be a top 5 for me, but I know that's not going to be shared. And Lego Star Wars, I like Kirkland's case for it. So I would say that, like, I don't know. I
Taylor, what's your eye on that side of the
Well,
board?
Kirkland's like, we should just remove this whole half the list.
I agree.
I'm thinking,
It's all fat. Trim it.
I
You
don't
had to
think
Google
so.
search. It wasn't from your heart. You're like, oh, Dragon Ball this? No.
No,
You
'cause
forgot
I-
Star Wars was coming out, so you
Okay, in defense
searched.
of that, I put out my picks, and I had to cut some other picks because they're rumored. They weren't officially announced. But in this sense, no, Watch Dogs 3, that's definitely one of my picks from the heart. I think Legion definitely has huge potential. What we could see with that game from that gameplay footage was absolutely through the roof, how anyone could be recruited into this cause, and you can just have the whole city under your control for what you want to do and
Okay,
fair
corruption.
enough.
And to me, where my fear is, I love the trailer. We talked about it a lot. My fear is that is a fun marketing ploy, but will not play into the game how we expect it to, or something like that.
It did get delayed.
Just my fear for it. Just my
Mhm.
fear for it. Just because, I mean, 1 and 2, I mean, there's some
You got
solid
some
stuff.
inside scoops.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just my worry is that, like, maybe that game isn't quite as much as that trailer made it seem.
Can I say we can lock Cyberpunk at least?
I'm a locking on.
I'm
Cyberpunk.
a lock.
Yeah.
I think
let's
that
get
and
that
Elder
away.
Scrolls are both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
No, for sure.
These aren't really ordered. Just
Yeah.
I'm a lot less interested in Ghostwire after hearing that the basically director just
I would
jumped
be
ship.
I'd be down to cut it because she's
Yeah.
like hilarious too. Like seeing her on stage and stuff. Like
Yeah.
she was the energy of that game. The fact she's gone is like a big worry for me. So.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly. And I still,
that's
I think I'm still with Kirkland. Other than Watch Dogs, I'm still down to get rid of that entire
cut-
side.
I would cut. I'm excited. Animal Crossing. I'd cut it. Metroid Prime. I'd cut it. What? And then these 3 I'd cut as well. Halo's interesting, but it's just been a rocky time
Yeah.
for Halo. I would leave for the time being Avengers and Lego Star Wars on there, but who knows?
I wouldn't leave Avengers because I mean.
Then let's cut it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't feel
Talk
like it's
about
doing
messy games.
anything.
We don't know what we're getting at that one. I'll
Leave it for
I'll
another
leave
10
it for
seconds.
now.
Leave for another 10 seconds.
Yeah,
Taylor.
Dying Light and Halo. I'm down to cut.
Dying Light 2, I feel like only me and Taylor are really
Yeah.
interested in that one. So
Taylor, sell me on Halo if you care to. Do you want to?
I'm gonna attempt to do a little bit of sales pitch for you. So, Halo Infinite. Now, this is going to be. They know they got one big shot with projects or their new console, right? And with Halo, they realized that they made so many mistakes with Halo 5 Guardians that they're going to rectify that. They're using a new game engine for Halo Infinite, which is just outstanding. They're bringing back the co-op, and this game just has so much potential to really just hit the fans exactly where we want. Whether or not it's going to be legendary
A
and
big launch
fantastic.
title. One of the biggest launch titles we might see ever in terms
Yeah.
of like a big AAA first party.
I
Good
feel
point.
like in terms for Halo fans right now, they're doing great because Master Chief Collection just popped in on PC users. You have Halo Reach on PC. Like this is massive, and they're building up towards something great. So I feel like at this point, there's a lot of momentum for Halo.
I feel like though you, along with the many other people, were very underwhelmed by that first teaser they dropped, and then they just went radio fucking
And we haven't
silent.
seen gameplay since. That's the
Yeah.
thing that it takes my
I'm
excitement.
trying.
Yeah.
I know. I didn't
See,
say
he's
personally. I
worried.
was really excited.
Listeners in his eyes, he's not personally
Yeah.
excited. He's a liar.
Well, I'm not
You're
a
a
liar.
liar,
Dylan
donkey.
said sell it to me, so I'm trying to sell it to
I
him.
said
Okay.
if you want to, though.
I wanted to.
That's good.
'Cause I
It's
think
like 1
I
foot
think
in.
it's 1 foot in the door.
I think we can cut it. It sounds like we can cut it.
I think
Yeah.
you can cut it.
We got a bunch of PlayStation boys here.
Taylor, sell Metro
I-
Prime 4.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. Let's cut Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
too.
let's cut it. Overrated game.
Yeah,
the
I think I
sequel's
need
gonna be
to
overrated
play
too.
the first one some more.
Cause like I feel pretty positive on Breath of the Wild, but like honestly, the fact that they're making a sequel to Breath of the Wild when they've never done, like they've never made Majora's Mask 2, they've never made Ocarina of Time 2. Like
Well,
I'm a little triggered by that. I'm not gonna lie.
Whoa.
Breath of the Wild 2.
Majora's Mask is kind of a sequel to Ocarina of Time.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I've never
all-
played it, so I don't
Technically,
know.
all the Zelda games
Yeah.
take place on some really convoluted time
I
grid.
thought you could take like every game
can.
as like a standalone.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
No, there's like at some point it splits off into 3 branches.
Fuck that shit.
It's very complex.
but it's fine because people are gonna play the second one and realize what a trash series it is.
Oh, okay.
I am
shut
curious sequel-wise though
Um,
if it'll be the same overworld or if they like make a whole new map or if they just like I don't know. I am curious for that game, but it's
Feel like
not
the
quite there
planes of
yet.
horses.
I gotta see more because I don't even know. Like the thing is, if it was a guaranteed 2020 game, I think it could be on my list. But the fact that we don't even know if
Isn't
it is coming out,
Oh,
next-
No,
I
they
thought
just
no,
did
they
a
just
teaser.
said they just said here it's a thing we're making it, but we don't know
gonna be
when.
scary.
And I think we'll find out sooner rather than later when it's coming out. But
Didn't we lock Elder Scrolls?
We
I
did
thought we
lock it.
did.
Doom Eternal.
Do you agree?
The lock for me, it's I love it as a
Yeah.
first-person shooter, and I
Okay.
don't like first-person shooters. That's
Okay.
if I'm playing a first-person shooter, that's the one. That
That's
is
cool.
just high-octane action. It looks like they're doing lots of cool, new, innovative things. Everyone's
Yeah.
very pumped for it. I think they are really doing well with that brand right now.
Okay.
And the
I-
second one,
I'm excited for it. I did pick up Doom, the first one now on sale, Steam sale, winter sale. It's like $7, so I'm
Fuck,
excited
dude.
to play
I
it.
gotta jump on that.
The thing that brings me down a bit is that it comes at the same day as Animal Crossing, and I don't know if I can justify buying both of them on the same day. So I might just end up kind of skipping it on launch, and then who knows, it might just fall into the annals of time and never get played.
Starfield. I feel like we're all pretty positive on that. We're all pretty
Yeah, we
excited
all
wanna
just to
see
see
what
what
the
it
heck
is.
it
So
I want to see
Could
what
come
it
out
is.
next year.
do
So
you want to log it?
Oh yeah, I'm down to lock.
Let's log it.
I've wanted to lock it since last year.
And then gotta represent my Arcane.
I'm down for that because I liked the trailer a lot. I've
Yeah.
never played Arcane games, but I liked the vibe, I liked the feel, I liked the look, I liked the touch.
Have you ever played an Arcane game? Have you played Dishonored or anything?
I've played a little bit of Dishonored, but like
Yeah.
I don't
Didn't
know
dive into
much,
it? Okay.
no.
I think we can cut Elden Ring. It just doesn't sound like we have much
Yeah.
hype
I
from us
completely
personally.
forgot about that game.
I'm interested in like seeing more.
Yeah,
like
me too.
before
I think
the
we'd
release.
also cut Metroid Prime 4 and
Yes.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs at this point.
That's more than 10 seconds. I'm staying on.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think if you cut Watch Dogs, you're gonna cut Animal Crossing because I don't think me and Kirklin are on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not getting
yeah.
that
We're
game.
not.
Shay might get that, but I'm not getting.
Is Shay here though? No, she's
No,
not.
exactly.
No
She's not
vote
a
for
GB
Shay.
member.
Right, so
And Watch Dogs we got rid of in place of that too.
Are we getting rid of Watch Dogs?
Yeah, I'm ready to it now.
You were holding on more than Taylor. I feel.
I
All right,
was. Yeah.
So for the listeners, right now we have locked Cyberpunk, Elder Scrolls 6, and Starfield. We have to pick 2 more, and we have a pool of Doom Eternal, Spelunky 2, Deathloop, Last of Us 2, and Lego Skywalker Saga, I guess what it's called.
yeah. Everyone throw their 2.
Yeah, we do that
Ooh,
again?
Okay.
I
do that.
would throw. I'll go. Yeah.
Two top games of the decade. So.
I still kind of want to do this one, Lego Star Wars.
Okay, yeah, you go.
Just
Do
because
one.
I'm super hyped. So check mark there and check mark Deathloop.
Last of Us and Star Wars.
Are you getting a PS5 so you can play it?
No, but I love the first one, but
Okay.
I am gonna be following the second.
I see.
Okay, I'll put one on Deathloop. And then I'm going to go Last of Us to tie it up so we can coin flip for that in Star Wars.
So Doom Eternal's off.
Doom's off and
Unfortunately.
Spelunky's gone.
Yeah.
I was gonna put vote Spelunky just for you, but I'm selfish.
I
Okay.
think something with Spelunky 2 is it's like very much a known variable. Like we've seen gameplay, people have played it at PAX and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like Spelunky 1, but with more areas, more items, more variety, you know? So
And-
it's like,
and then
whereas Deathloop, we still don't know what it is. Starfield is still like a big mystery.
Elder Scrolls 6
So,
still don't
and
know
even
anything.
Cyberpunk, we don't even know what like the
I know.
mint
other than
gameplay
Cyberpunk,
is,
it's
so.
all Bethesda
and
games.
Keanu.
Uh,
Bethesda.
yeah, so is anyone going to budge on Star Wars versus Last of Us? They both have 2 votes. My other
See,
vote went to Last
So
of
my,
Us.
yeah, my votes weren't for either of these. So
My Yeah, my biggest thing with Last of Us 2 is I haven't beaten the first one yet. So I feel like once I beat it, though, I'll
What
probably...
new is the Lego Star Wars game gonna give us?
No, exactly. It's not. But this is me personally doing my vote. So I would budge for Last of Us 2.
You would vote off of Last of Us?
I would vote
Are you
for
saying?
it. I'm
he was Star
currently in
Wars.
Star Wars.
Okay.
I'm just
You
so
would
fucking
change it.
hyped on this, especially after watching
my
Star
votes
Wars again.
were on obviously Deathloop and Spelunky. Spelunky's gone. If I had to pick between these, I would pick Lego Star Wars because I'm actually probably gonna buy that game. I don't like Last of Us. I played the first one. The gameplay is fucking awful, and I just don't like. It's a great story, sure. I just hate the gameplay so much, so I can't get into it. Because of that, I will most likely be skipping Last of Us 2. Just not the gameplay.
You have one vote remaining, right? Because you voted for Spelunky and that was gone, so you get that vote back to use.
But then
right?
Kirkland switched over. Okay.
'Kay.
Last of Us, me, Travis
Oh,
Snell.
fuck.
Me, Travis Snell.
Yeah, one on each. for me.
Listeners, you know.
One on each.
Or,
No.
oh, just one.
Wow, you mother cocksucker!
Lego Star
You
Wars.
mother cocksucker.
Lego Star Wars.
Oh, here we go.
Holy schnitzel. Okay. And you're
Always
going
comes
Lego.
down to Mr. Pats.
And you're going Lego.
I voted Lego.
Yeah, so
There's
this is
two
up
votes
to
on
you.
Lego.
Either you give Lego the win, or we go
I'll
to the
go-
I don't
coin.
like Last of Us.
I'll go
gameplay.
Last of Us 2 because Lego
Boom.
didn't make me cry like
'Kay.
Last of Us did.
I'm gonna say the tail is gonna be the duck. The head is gonna be Lego Star Wars. I'm gonna do a
Wait,
flip.
what? Can you say that
The
again?
tail.
The tail's
tail.
gonna be the duck.
Shit.
DuckTales.
Tail. Tail.
Tails confirmed.
Last of Us is tails. Head is Skywalker. I'm doing the flip. The pickup and the flip. It's tails. Last of Us.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Fuck you guys winning your coin flip.
Hey, I lost the first one, man.
Yeah,
I'm
you
still
did.
salty
Yeah.
about that.
I always lose.
What are our 5 most anticipated games of the decade?
That's a good list. I like
the
that
decade
list.
is a strong term.
Yeah, of
but
the next 3 to 2 years
of the announced games in
Yeah.
the world. These aren't really ordered, but Last of Us 2, Deathloop, Starfield, Elder Scrolls 6, and Cyberpunk.
Ooh.
I'm personally gonna purchase the top 4 games on this. Last of Us 2, maybe, but who knows?
I'm gonna get 2 out of 3 for sure.
I'll probably get all 5.
Cyberpunk
At one
and Last
point.
of
2
Us.
out of 3 for sure, or 2 out of 5 for
2
sure.
out of 3. Jesus, Taylor, what are you doing over there?
Well, we did it. We talked about the decade. We talked about the future decade. We ranked. We cried. We flipped.
Jeez.
We're
how
at
long
3
was that? That took
hours.
a
I didn't
decade.
cry, but I
3 hours.
definitely
so.
almost cried when it
Mhm.
came to Dishonored and Spelunky 2 getting fucking shafted.
Taylor,
I
where can
know.
they find us?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into this. You can find us in the search bar, Geek vs. Space Podcasts, and there's a lot more.
Tons of stuff.
Decades, golden
Decade
geek
stuff,
coming,
2020s.
so-
Did lots of content. Pump it out. We're going to go eat so we can record more of that content. So everything you want is in the description down below. If you listen to this in 3 hours, there's lots of stuff. That's why you go to Patreon, because you can get this episode ad-free, and all that stuff is good. So thank you very much for tuning in. When you hear from us next, it will not be boring.
Bye-bye. That was fun. That was lots of fun. I was getting sweaty. Holy moly. It's getting heated in here.
Fucking
roasty bod.
Oh, okay. What's happening food-wise, boys?
I don't know. I gotta pee before I think.